bitch. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all the things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, whatever's trending online and going on in the world of hot topics. We dish it over here on this good old show of mine. So, before we get started with today's show and all the heavy topics, well, it's not going to be heavy, but it's a lot of topics, per usual. Before we get to the topics, please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button. So that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And it also helps out with like the algorithms and things of that nature and helps keep the page monetized. Cause the more y'all watch, the more y'all like, and the more of those things that happens, it helps with the monetization of the situation. So we do have a lot of topics. Literally, I just added another topic like seconds before we went live because I came across this Phaedra thing, but we'll get to that in a minute. But I'm gonna just give y'all a quick rundown. So we're gonna talk about this big payout because we were talking about Robert Downey Jr. and all the other stuff in this upcoming Avengers movies, two of them that's coming out. Well, apparently Variety did a story and it's talking about the huge payout that they backed the Brinks truck big time. We knew this was gonna happen for Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers. So we're gonna talk about that. Plus, I'm sure y'all probably already know right now it's not necessarily, it's a spoiler alert or whatever the case is. Look, Wesley Snipes as Blade is in the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie. So he's opening up about that and the possibility, whatever, for a fourth solo movie. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Lady Gaga previewed two new songs from her upcoming album. I seen y'all in the chat before I was getting the show started. It's LG7. No, it's LG8. So we'll talk about that. I was reading, I'll be reading the chats when I'll be putting the show together. Plus, Nelly Furtado is hitting at a potential Las Vegas residency with Timberland. I'll give you my thoughts. Katy Perry, with the flop of Woman's World, is trying to bounce back with this new damn song, Lifetimes. And she's trying to do the whole TikTok thing. I guess she's trying to follow in Kamala's lead in regards to trying to get herself trending and things. And so we'll talk about that. Plus, there was a story that I came across earlier, and I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good one. So a songwriter by the name of Toby Gad is opening up about his sessions with Madonna while they were working on the Rebel Heart album, and how he basically told her, fuck you. And so it's a whole situation. We're going to break that down, because I know that's going to be the juicy one. But there's a lot of other juicy topics. Plus, Jodie Sweetin, child, this made me like her even more. She clapping back at her former Fuller House co-star Cameron Bure, because I call her because she's a bore. Yeah, so she's basically speaking out about what Candace has been saying in regards to the whole situation that was going on with the Olympics and drag queens and the Last Supper and all that mess. Plus, this is okay. I decided we're going to do one heavy story, and that is this whole thing about Kim Porter. Remember, there was a talk a while back, I think years ago, that she was planning on doing a memoir, and it was going to be exposing Diddy and a lot of his abusive ways and stuff. Well, child, somebody apparently got their hands on the flash drive that she had all the tea on, and a lot done came out. And I'm like, can somebody please leak this whole book or put it out or put it together, stitch together, do something, and give us this memoir in like audio book form or Audible or whatever you want to, because I need the thing. So we're gonna break that whole situation down. Plus, Ozzy Osbourne, shady ass, decided to apologize to Britney Spears, but he trying to give her some old dance advice. Okay, Lorianne Gibson, you better get that advice. Or should we call him, JoJo Siwa? So we got that. Plus, Cardi B, of course, yet again is in the news, clapping back at people who are throwing shade at her. This time, there's rumors floating around that her Atlanta mansion is in foreclosure. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Andy Cohen is finally talking about rebooting The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Thank God, because y'all need it. Phaedra Parks, because this is the part where I was like, okay, I literally had to add this to the docket seconds before we did the show. So Phaedra Parks, apparently, because I was like, okay, so what are they going to be doing with her? Is she going to still be on Married to Medicine? Is she going to be apparently she quit Married to Medicine and went over there to the Housewives because there was some drama that went on behind the scenes, but somebody was trying to have there be a confrontation between Apollo and Apollo's wife and all that other mess. Plus, we got some drag race news per usual. So Nicki Doll is threatening to sue some dude over some disgusting remarks. He was trying to equate drag queens with pedophiles. and child fuckers. That is his words. That is not mine, but that's what he referred to them as. And then, of course, Morphine Love Dion is detailing the injuries that she endured during that fatal car crash. I think last week, 2 weeks ago. When was DragCon? Last week. So yeah, we're going to talk about that and whatever popped up. Whatever pops up throughout the show, any breaking news, whatever, definitely let me know, because when I'm producing a show by myself, I don't have time to be like multitasking and looking up stuff on social media and things that's happening. But if stuff happens in real time, definitely drop it down in the comments, and we'll break it on down on the show. So we have my banner. We see the comments. You also see, did I tell you the girls is fighting? To my, LG7, and she put LG7. So it's like, look, she's probably another one like Katy Perry that doesn't want to acknowledge that she's created multiple albums. Like she had the Kate Hudson, Alanis Morissette-esque album that she had before she decided to do the whole pop shtick thing that was working with the Nicki Minaj and Lady Gaga. Was like trying to go into that whole category with her career at that time in the 2010s when she was ruling the charts. So she had to do a switcheroo because nobody was buying her as this, jewel Alanis Morissette, Lilith Fair type of pop star. So she had to go in a different direction. And so that's probably what Lady Gaga is doing also. Maybe it's one of her albums she refuses to acknowledge. I don't know, but I ain't paying attention to her that hard. But I'll let y'all argue it out in the chat. So Lawrence filed lost a libel lawsuit to Crystal. It's funny how that was actually mentioned in the and when I was doing my research on the situation, that he's been, I guess he's just been going after drag queens. And it's like, y'all seem to forget that homosexuals, we not ones to be played with. Like, we're not gonna be the ones that's gonna sit on the sideline and allow you to drag us and dog us. The sissies is the ones that are the ones that have done the work to move the needle in regards of political activism. It was never like some masculine homosexual or homosexual. It was never like the straight acting down low types. It was always the femme girls, the trans girls, the drag queens. They were the ones that was always on the front lines. Hello, Stonewall. So I don't understand why these conservatives always, y'all be trying us, and then y'all wonder why y'all get y'all ass beat verbally and legally, because y'all be trying us. But anyway, let's get right into the show, and let's get to our first topic, which is this whole story that I just came across. I was like, chill. Now, I think I pretty much know, like, for me talking about this for the past couple of days since this news broke, I feel like this is a misstep on Marvel's part. I don't know what possessed them to think that, oh, well, we could bring Robert Downey Jr. back to the MCU, not as a variant, because that's what people keep saying. Oh, it's a variant. But I've been hearing so many things where people saying, no, he's literally coming in as Dr. Doom. He's not a variant of Tony Stark or whatever the case is. He's literally playing, it's the same actor who's been in the MCU that is playing a completely different thing. I think they're trying to do a situation similar to what we've seen in the past. Well, like, and I always use this as an example because it's the most mainstream one. Chris Evans, where he played the Human Torch. In fact, speaking of Fantastic Four, he played the Human Torch, aka Johnny Storm, in the Fantastic Four franchise. And then years later, when those Fantastic Four movies didn't really work, the ones with him and Jessica Alba and Ian Griffith and Michael Chiklis and that whole situation, when that whole situation didn't work, then years later they brought him in as Captain America, and we were more accepting of that because this was a different type. I guess this was a different type of MCU, and this MCU was like not what we were getting from the previous studios and all the things where certain IPs were with different studios, under the Marvel umbrella, because I'm sure y'all know the history of, like, Marvel didn't have enough money, and so they had to, like, outsource a lot of their stuff in order for them to make some kind of money until they came around to building the MCU and all that stuff. So that's what I'm believing that is going to be happening with Robert Downey Jr., that he's going to basically play an entirely different character. But the thing is, he has so established himself as Tony Stark that people cannot see him as anything else. And this is not diminishing the fact or trying to downplay the fact that he's, his acting abilities, because we all know that Robert Downey Jr. can act his way down to the floor. Hence, he just won an Oscar for playing in the movie Oppenheimer. And he did a fantabulous, well, that's what we're going to go with. He did a fantabulous job in that movie. But this is the MCU. This is, and then I think the way people are looking at this is because the MCU is not what it was prior to when Robert Downey Jr. was a part of the height of the MCU. Now he's coming back into the franchise when the MCU needs saving. And the MCU is not in a place where people are feeling great about it. It's like, yeah, we got that sense of hope when we watched Deadpool and Wolverine, but when we look back on, but post Deadpool and Wolverine, where are we going with all of this? So I say all that to say, because now they're talking about, well, what stunts and shows they had to pull to get him to come, him and the Russo brothers, to become part of the next phase. So it says Marvel's big plan to pull the MCU out of its multiversal tailspin became very clear this past weekend during San Diego Comic-Con as the studio announced that the Russo brothers are coming back to direct the next two Avengers films. Now, while Avengers The Kang Dynasty is out, Avengers Doomsday is in, with Robert Downey Jr. signed on to play the central role. And it seems like Marvel is dropping a pretty penny to make it all happen. So after a bruising year, Marvel is returning to the very things that worked in the past. That means reuniting the franchise's crown jewel, Robert Downey Jr., as well as the Russo brothers, who directed the two most successful movies for the studio with Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. But bringing back key members of the old gang won't come cheap. Sources say Marvel is plunking down $80 million for Anthony and Joe Russo to direct Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, and significantly more for Downey to tackle uber villain Doctor Doom in the two tentpoles. The Russos' deal doesn't include back-end compensation, but it does contain performance escalators that kick in at the $750 million and $1 billion thresholds. The brothers also will produce the two films under their HBO banner and marks something of a departure from Marvel, which typically doesn't work with outside producers, preferring to keep the team in-house. Now, for Downey, who helped catapult Marvel into a money-printing machine thanks to his return as Tony Stark in the first Iron Man film in 2008, his deal is also filled with perks that include private jet travel, dedicated security, and a whole trailer encampment for the newly minted Oscar winner. As you know, he, like we said, he won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Oppenheimer. I think it was this year, right? Yeah, 2024. Because they, with everything was going on with COVID and the strikes and all that other stuff, they had to move it. So it said, according to one knowledgeable source, Downey is by far the highest paid member of the MCU and has pulled down between $500 million and $600 million over the course of 4 Avengers movies, 3 Iron Man outings and cameos in The Incredible Hulk, Captain America: Civil War, and Spider-Man: Homecoming. Still, some changes are in order. While the Russo brothers' previously 2 Avengers movies shot in Atlanta, the new outings will be filmed in London beginning in the second quarter of 2025. And it says, although Marvel had become the most dominant brand in cinema over the first 30 films, it began to show cracks in 2023 with a ho-hum Ant-Man sequel that brought in just $476 million worldwide, coupled with a disastrous The Marvels, which barely cleared the $200 million mark globally. Adding to the angst of the Burbank lot, the entire future Avengers arc that centered on villain Kang had to be scrapped amid actor Jonathan Majors' legal troubles. Well, it's funny how y'all want to sit and blame all that on Jonathan Majors, and maybe that played a factor in it, but let's be clear. The way that y'all introduced and wrote Kang in Loki and the other, and what was it, in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the writing was not that great. So we're not going to 110%, even though I'm not defending Jonathan Majors for what he did, but we're not going to sit here and put all the blame on that whole situation. I feel like y'all are using him as a scapegoat, but to be honest, Kang's appearances in Loki season 2, as well as Quantumania, were lackluster. And I couldn't stand. I was like 30 minutes into Quantumania. I tuned out. It was just background noise. I went right back to working on my projects on my laptop. While I was playing in the background, I would just glance up every now and again when it was an action sequence. But overall, I didn't really care for Quantumania. So, in regards to all of this, like, I understand, like, to me, it just feels like an act of desperation on their part. And to me, it was like when Robert Downey Jr. made his appearance at Comic-Con and revealed himself at Comic-Con as Doctor Doom. I didn't see Doctor Doom up there. I saw this guy. I saw Tony Stark in a green suit. And that's what he was giving me with this pose. Because if we go back to the Iron Man movies, this is pretty much the Tony Stark shtick that he's given us when he would show up at presentations and things would go off. And even in the second one, let's go back to part 2. He comes, opens his hands up like a scene out of a Creed music video, like he's a god or something. And it's giving very much, are you not entertained? Like it's giving very much that. And to me, it's just like, I'm not seeing what Marvel is saying. All I'm seeing is corporate interference. This is some corporate bullshit behind the scenes, Disney desperate for a hit type of thing. So they're going back to familiarity and nostalgia and a hope for the fans to come and support this movie. But like I keep saying, a lot of the comic book movie fans, they care about the characters. They don't care about the actors. So many non-major character, actors were put in these roles. We didn't know who the hell Chris Hemsworth was when he came in as Thor, but we ended up loving him. Robert Downey Jr. was at the end of his ropes when they pulled him in to be Iron Man. Chris Evans' career wasn't really popping when y'all brought him in to play Captain America. And yeah, Scarlett Johansson was doing her thing and was well known in Hollywood circles, and she was doing a lot of legitimately good movies. But when she came in as Black Widow, we embraced her. So it's just like that's the ingredient that I feel like the MCU is missing. It's like it's not about some major name. It's not about a big name. It's about who is the perfect actor that fits that job. And to me, it's just like I don't think that this was a good move on the MCU's part to bring in Robert Downey Jr., especially when we're going through this time of those strikes and everything. We're talking about like you're backing up about a dozen Brinks trucks to pay out these people. Now, what about the other actors you're going to have to bring in? And what is the budget for this film going to balloon to? We've been complaining so much about how movie budgets have been out of control. Like we had this whole situation when we were talking about Fast and the Furious. Those movies have been lackluster for the past couple of films, but your budgets are ballooning to $400 million because they're trying to pay all these people so much money, and you got to hope that fans show up so you can recoup this money. So what's the budget going to be after you've paid the Russos all this money, Robert Downey Jr. all this money? There's no guarantee that people are actually going to show up and see this film. I mean, out of curiosity, we'll see it. And I'm, like I've said many times, I'm really hoping that they prove me wrong in this whole situation. But there were so many other actors y'all could have brought in. You could have picked any of the Asghars brothers, Bill or Alex. But Bill is really busy right now, so I don't know. You could have went for Alex. You could have went for what we said yesterday, Nicholas Waldau, who played Jamie Lannister on Game of Thrones. I would like to see him in there. Mads Mikkelsen, who yes was in the first Doctor Strange movie as the big bad, but he could have played Doctor Doom. We would have liked that. And to me, if Robert Downey Jr. is going to have the mask on the whole movie, then what's the point of paying him all this money? We're not going to really see his face. So that doesn't make sense to me. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do you think that the MCU is overplaying their hand at this, that they're showing signs of desperation by, okay, let's go with what's familiar and let's bring in something. Yeah, let's bring in somebody that's familiar so that way we can get everybody all excited. Because I feel like in Hall H, it's like, yeah, they're all going to be excited. First of all, everybody's happy that they can get in. You could barely get into Hall H. It's impossible from what I've heard from so many people to get inside of Hall H. So when you get inside of Hall H and you get to be a part of that iconic zeitgeist type of moment, whatever that is, everybody in the room, yes, is going to be excited. But once you get outside of that Comic-Con MCU Hollywood bubble, it seems like the majority of the people are kind of side-eyeing this like, this ain't sitting right with me. And especially with Dr. Doom being a pretty iconic supervillain. So whatever your thoughts are on this topic, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I was actually hoping I hit all the cylinders with that whole situation, but I feel like I may have left some stuff out. But yeah. Like I said, I had no idea James Wood was in Oppenheimer. The articles I read because he's I don't particularly care for James Woods. Although I will say I love James Woods in John Carpenter's Vampires. That was a really good movie. So yeah, even though his political beliefs leans very conservative, certain movies that I like, I kind of just look the other way with it. Especially, look, I've learned to do that with some actors because I feel like, well, if I loved the movie back in the day, it's like I loved the Mad Max franchise. I'm not going to stop watching because Mel Gibson's a dick. So sometimes you got to choose your battles. It's like I can't just stop watching a movie now. If there's any future stuff, it's like, yeah, I won't watch them and I won't support them. But if it's past things that I grew up watching and it gives me a sense of nostalgia and comfort, I'll sit and I'll watch it. It's like with Signs. I'm not going to stop watching that movie because Mel Gibson's in it. I mean, there's other actors. I think it's different when you're in music. I mean, when you're into music. Okay, as I said, ruined the wait, when Oscar man, he was one of 8 producers, but he didn't get the Oscar. Let's just say the rules were very strict that he had only do minimal and get paid, so he didn't hurt them. Wait, we talking about James Woods? Did the internet fall out of love with Ryan Reynolds? Did they? Oh, was that? Who did that? Kayla says she did a video of the internet fell out of love with Ryan Reynolds. I mean, I like Ryan Reynolds, but I just can he do anything outside of Deadpool? Like to me, it's just like you give it the same old shtick when you do things. Okay, it said relying on names. That's one of the problems. They want new faces and new actors, but we all know that's not happening. Many dreams of wanting that what RDJ has, but told they're not established. Well, the fact of the matter is they have to get established in order to become established. But if Hollywood's not going to give the opportunities because y'all want to sit and keep giving the same 5 people the same gigs over and over, it's like y'all really like just throwing money away? Because y'all think that, oh, look, the Russo brothers, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. But it's like, you seem to forget, it took years for them to build up to Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. The MCU is in a state right now where y'all are just floundering all over the place. It's like literally a fish out of water trying to gasp for oxygen. And the only way they get oxygen, you got to throw the fish back in the water. They can't breathe above ground. They got to be in the ocean. So that to me is what it seems like, right? You're literally like a dead fish flopping around, or a fish on life support flopping around, trying to gasp for that last breath. And I just feel like where are we going with this franchise? It's like once Deadpool and Wolverine did what they did, where do we go with the future of the MCU? Like, what's the kickoff point? Who is going to be leading us to this point of these Avengers movies? Like y'all can't just be like, oh well, like don't tell me y'all about to do the whole thing that they did with the Snyderverse, which was instead of giving the Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and all of them their own individual movie before you brought them together as the Justice League, y'all literally just gonna just put them in a group setting, and then we'll give them the spinoffs later because we need to play catch up because our initial situation that we did during the Bob Chapek era was a mess. So I don't know what they're doing over there. So that's why I'm kind of like just skeptical with the whole situation. I feel like if we've been following them for a long time, I'm not just going to blindly follow the MCU because of their prior track record. The prior track record is what it is. But now we're talking about what I keep talking about with this thing where it's what have you done for me lately? It's not about what you did in the past because that's what people. It's like it was great at work when it worked, but now we're in the moment. We need to focus on the now and the future, and not what y'all did back then. Now, if you could turn it all around and prove the fans and everything wrong, then I see that. But that's how I see it. They said, "Oh yeah, I mean, I have issues with Braveheart, especially some of the homophobia stuff that's in that." And it said, "Let's let Marvel rest. I think people want superheroes of color, not white people." John, but I think at the end of the day, people just want a good story. I don't think it has to do with the fact that we don't want white superheroes. We don't want this superhero. We don't want that superhero. I just feel like people want comic book fans, comic book movie fans. We just want a good story. I just want to see a good comic book movie on the big screen and the small screen. If you got a great story that you can tell that's completely something that I've never seen before, then I'll tune in. I'm not just gonna watch something because it's a superhero movie. It's gotta have a good story. The acting's gotta be on point. Like there's a whole lot that goes into me wanting to support a thing. What's the overall theme? What's the overall arc? I mean, what is it? Why should we come in to support this thing? Not just because it's got MCU on it and Kevin Feige's EP title, but it's gotta have something for me to want to come in and support it. So 18 pages. Oh Jesus. But anyway, let's move on. Speaking of superheroes, let's talk about Wesley Snipes. And this whole situation that's going on with Blade. So, over the years, we're still waiting on this Mahershala Ali Blade. Trying to be optimistic and hope and pray that we're gonna get one. But I don't know. In my gut, I feel like this damn movie is never gonna happen, and they're just not telling us. And Mahershala Ali just gonna move on. But I just feel like Marvel is just jerking our chain. I mean, if it happens and y'all prove me wrong, then I'm here for it. But I don't know. I'm just a little skeptical. So Wesley Snipes, apparently, because after the whole Deadpool Wolverine shattered box office records for an R-rated film and is doing what it's doing, Wesley Snipes, who does have a cameo, spoiler alert, in Deadpool and Wolverine, is spilling secrets about his appearance. So shout out to so Wesley Snipes opened up to Entertainment Weekly about what it was like reprising Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine. He said he was one of the film's big cameos and even attended San Diego Comic-Con last week to surprise fans after a screening of the Marvel blockbuster with the movie's other cameo stars. Over the years, we've had very interesting conversations, some of them very substantive. I hope I said that right. It's like all of a sudden I can't even say big words anymore. But anyway, some of them very substantive and some of them not. This is what Snipes told EW about bringing his iteration of Blade back for a fourth go round. So I kind of resided that I was moving on from them, which is okay. I did 3 of them and I thought they turned out pretty good. Not so bad. Well, some people say otherwise with that third one, with all that drama that allegedly happened behind the scenes, especially, with all the tea Patton Oswalt was spilling over the years. So he said, I did 3 of them and I thought they turned out pretty good, not so bad. So we move on to other things and bigger and better things as well. Now, Snipes debuted as Blade in 1998 and reprised the character in 2002's Blade 2. Directed by Guillermo del Toro, and 2004's Blade Trinity. The latter film co-starred Ryan Reynolds, who so happened to text Snipes during development on Deadpool and Wolverine to ask if he might be interested in reprising Blade. Reynolds sent a text that read, I want to talk to you. I did not think it was possible, Snipes said of his return to Blade after 20 years. I didn't think we would be able to pull it off. I didn't think that Marvel was into it. Disney was into it. Also because they have Mahershala Ali cast for the next upcoming version of it. I thought it didn't make sense to me, but when you get a call from Ryan Reynolds out of the blue after 20 years, you go, okay, I got to take this call. Let's see what this is about. He told me the idea. They said yes, and it's a go. And if you're in, we're in. Here we are. Now, Marvel, as we've said, has been developing its own Blade reboot for basically half a decade at this point. I think it's been about 6 years since the announcement was made. Speaking of San Diego Comic-Con, when Kevin Feige brought Mahershala out on stage and everybody got excited. Now, that's a moment when you bring out a 2-time Oscar winner who has never been in the superhero world or the Marvel Cinematic Universe and introduce him as our new Blade, the next generation Blade. Not a Robert Downey Jr., who has played already in the sandbox of the MCU and now is coming back as a completely different character and not a variant. So it was announced on June 12th that director Yann Demange was exiting the movie and that a new screenwriter, Eric Pearson, who is a writer on The Fantastic Four and Black Widow, was coming on board. Snipes took to Twitter at the time to post, Blade, lordy, lordy, lordy. Folks still looking for the secret sauce. Riders, snowmobiles, and traffic. Kind of rough. Daywalkers make it look easy, don't they? Well, look, like you say in many a time in the original movie, and as an iconic line, of course, in Deadpool Wolverine, motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. So I'm feeling like at this point, maybe what needs to happen is maybe maybe they need to entertain the idea of a separate situation. We can get a Wesley Snipes Blade movie. Because I have to say, I enjoyed seeing Wesley Snipes back on the big screen. When he came out, that was like the ultimate excitement for me. I'm so glad I was really good at avoiding spoilers when I went to go see this film in a theater, because I didn't go on social media. I was avoiding Twitter, but I think also what maybe had worked was because there was so many theories and so many citations and so many people coming out and saying, "Oh, this person's allegedly supposed to be in the movie, and we heard this cameo, and this cameo, this cameo, this." So there's been so many things about the cameos, like I wouldn't have known what to believe and what not to believe. So any kind of name could have just been thrown out there, and I think we all would have been thrown off the scent until you seen the movie open a weekend. That's when everything would have been ruined. I'm still a little irritated, and I think I said this on a previous video. I'm still upset over the fact that they brought up Daphne Keene. Why did y'all even have to reveal it? Talking about she had to go to the and I'm staying by what I said the last time. She wanted to go to the premiere. I'm like, so y'all didn't think to be like, okay, make up a lie and pretty much say, well, I was in a film, I was in Logan with Hugh Jackman, and I wanted to basically come see the movie to support my friend. She couldn't have said that. Hollywood people lie all the fucking time. So she could have showed up and made up that line, and when people watch the movie and see her come out, they would have gagged. You didn't have to reveal it in the trailer. I just feel like the same thing that I said about Robert Downey Jr. being cast as Dr. Doom. MCU, your insecurity is showing. I feel like that their insecurity is showing because y'all been taking so many lashings from so many lackluster MCU movies that you didn't trust that the audience was already pretty much excited based off the few trailers already released prior to the, us getting closer to the release, that we were already going to see the movie. There was already reports about how well the tickets did in regards to Deadpool and Wolverine and opening number predictions and opening weekend, I should say, predictions and all that stuff. So I didn't understand why they didn't trust in the process and trust in the fact that, you know what, you have the audience. They're going to come out and they're going to support this movie. You don't need to reveal nothing else. You don't need to put out another trailer. The movie's going to make a shit ton of money, but big corporations, I'll get greedy. And it's like, but we want a little bit more of them people to show up. They'll show up. Trust and believe. You're going to break the records, open a weekend, and then word of mouth is going to get those people who weren't necessarily interested in seeing a Deadpool and Wolverine movie out of curiosity. They'll go get their ticket. So I don't understand who these people was that was marketing, but it was just ridiculous on that part for y'all to reveal Daphne Keene. But I said it just felt like a side of insecurity on their part where they just overplaying their hand. But I say all this to say, I would love to see Wesley Snipes back on the big screen. He was definitely in amazing shape. I think he did mention in the article how he got in shape for it. He said, he he said, I wasn't Blade ready, man. I don't walk around as Blade every day. You know what I mean? This is what he told EW about playing Blade again. Now, he said, with a trench coat and shades and fangs in my mouth, we had to work out. We definitely had to get the body. And my biggest concern was being in condition enough to deal with whatever the action is. They didn't really tell me what the action was going to be, so I prepared for whatever that was going to come. Thankfully, I didn't have to do as much as I thought I would because the action movies are tough. They were not easy at all by any means. Now, about a month into it, I got the body right, and then with the help of a little customized foam, well placed in certain areas, it was all good to go. Baby, let's ride. So, y'all can find ways to bring Wesley Snipes back. I mean, and look, this is going to be the same thing when it comes to Mahershala Ali. Mahershala Ali's already in his 50s, and y'all got him. And yeah, black don't crack. We know that, depending on the person. Unless you Candace Owens, then your black do crack. But when it comes to people like Wesley Snipes and even Mahershala Ali, yeah, they still look relatively good and look like they could kick ass, and they look younger than their actual age. But you got to think about it, it's like the amount of work that goes into these stunts, the amount of work that goes into getting that body into shape and the fight choreography. And I said, you know what, you don't necessarily have to have Mahershala up in there doing all the black belt stuff, martial arts. You can have a double up in there doing certain things. Ryan Reynolds had plenty of different people up in there doing certain scenes. That dance sequence that they showed in the beginning with NSYNC, that wasn't him. That was another actor. So they have people who come in and they have them stand in and do certain things. You can have somebody, even Wesley Snipes had a stunt double in the Blade movies. So you have people that can come and do the difficult stuff. You have them do the close-ups. Wesley Snipes can still go in and do his signature moves. He don't have to do as much. You can always find ways to cheat it, but he could do as much as he can. So I definitely hope that if we don't get Mahershala Ali, that somebody actually looks at that cameo and considers getting Wesley Snipes back on the big screen as Blade, because I feel like after the disaster that was Blade Trinity and what they were trying to do over there by introducing new characters and making Blade a side character, which was one of the rumors that they were talking about they were going to do for this reboot, that they were going to make Wesley Snipes, I mean, not Wesley Snipes, they were going to make Mahershala Ali's uh, um, Blade a secondary character, and they were going to bring all these other people in. That was what the rumors. Uh, he deserves a proper send-off, but I guess they felt the proper send-off came in the form of the cameo. So I'll say this to say, whatever you think of this story in regards to Wesley Snipes, would you love to see another Blade movie with Wesley Snipes back on the big screen? I know for me, I would, because seeing a black male vampire hunter, I'm like, well, damn, I've never heard of this character, but I remember the first time I saw that in the movies, and that opening sequence with the bloodbath and the nightclub and Tracy Lords and the guy from SWAT that she brought in, and what was it? He was on the Shield too. Getting up in there about to be meat. You know, he's about to be din for the people, the vampires, and then that's how we got the introduction of it. That's still one of the most iconic opening sequences in the history of superhero movies. I don't care what anybody says, go argue with your mammy. But in my opinion, that is like one of my favorite opening sequences of all time in a superhero film. But if y'all would like to see Wesley Snipes on a big screen, or you just irritated by this whole reboot situation, they can't get their shit together over there. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so he said the other problem is the cast of Madam Web hated comic books and made fun of them. Child, don't even get me started on Madam Web, because I remember one of my friends was like, I was like, oh, it's on Netflix. And then one of my friends was like, oh, just hate watch it. Just watch it just for the sake. I said, I can't bring myself to watching a bad superhero movie. I just can't do it. It's gonna piss me off. So I'm like, no, I won't watch it. I enjoyed but I enjoyed Miss Marvel though. Even though Miss Marvel wasn't a perfect movie, there was parts of that film that I actually enjoyed. They want actors who are fans and passionate about the source. That's why they love Henry. He's a fan just like them. That's why. Well, you know what? I like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was the perfect Superman. It was just that I just feel Zack Snyder ruined the whole Superman thing. People want to sit and get mad at James Gunn. It's like, why you get mad at him for? Be mad at Zack Snyder for fucking up the Snyderverse in regards to the whole superhero thing and the direction they were trying to go into. Because clearly, if that whole situation was working, y'all would have been up in the theater supporting it. And I don't understand how people sit and talk about, oh yeah, we're gonna support this person and we love this movie and da da da, so on and so forth. And when the movie comes out and it flops, then you're shocked. It's like, if y'all say y'all supporting the artist, go support the artist. So they should have been out there supporting the Snyderverse, but a lot of y'all was not. And at the end of the day, this is show business, and it's about money. So I think it was the same thing where we was having a conversation about the whole Melissa Barrera thing, because I remember Robert was having a conversation talking about how Abigail's doing well on home video. I'm like, duh, I could have told you that. I mean, when I went to see it in the movies, it wasn't a lot of people in the theater to see it. And I saw it opening night. Because if I say I'm going to support something and I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not just going to give y'all lip service and be like, oh yeah, we need to go support so-and-so. And then when the time comes, I'm going to just sit my ass at home. I was like, no, I want to see the movie. And I was not only for Melissa Barrera, but I was also an Angus Cloud fan because I liked Euphoria. And I wanted to see his final performance. But now you can watch Abigail on Peacock. And I went and saw the movies and I enjoyed the film, even though, per usual, the problem that I have with Radio Silence movies, your third act never holds up. You have all these ideas and you put these amazing, and I think they're a good idea team, but y'all need better writers. And that's why I'm glad in so many ways. And Nev Campbell says they're postponing the Scream 7 shoot until December so they could really get things right and work on it. And I'm so glad. I'm hoping and praying, but I think it might be happening. Kevin Williamson's going to come in and give his input on the script, because I'm like, if you're coming and directing this, you're also a writer and you created the Scream franchise. You created Sidney Prescott. She's somebody from inside his head that he typed on, his computer and created a script around her and whoever else ends up from back in the day, most likely Gail Weathers, in the film. So I don't understand why, you will let them people over there take a crack at some stuff and you don't come in and give your own opinion. Because I would have been like, I got to rework the script. And certain things don't make sense. And the one thing, like I've said, that has always fallen apart with Radio Silence is their third act. The third act just did not work for me. It didn't make sense. in Abigail, like it didn't work. And then they didn't even need to have Abigail's father show up. I'm like, first of all, that just felt tacked on. Um, and it's like that whole Scream 6 in third act, that whole reveal. And I was like, come on, this is bullshit. Even though I knew halfway through who the damn killer was. By the time that the people showed up at the therapist's house, I was like, okay, I know who the killers are. That's when I figured it out. Because I love the fact Madonna is constantly working due to the fact that her Instagram isn't controversial and her music is finally getting paid attention. Now she needs to fire her team. Well, look, if she goes as hard on these songwriters like Toby Gad that she would on her damn team, then maybe Madonna, would be her shit would be a little together. Because the way that they're doing her music rollouts and stuff, I'm not liking it. Like, I really feel like y'all should have released that Like a Prayer Deadpool and Wolverine version. Okay, so it's that point to let her know you need to do this and that, and the rewards will come in your favor, and get her to sign off on a deluxe reissue for holiday season release. Can you imagine if Madonna hires Michael Karpinski or you? She'll learn the yes people days. Oh yeah, because I wouldn't tell her. I wouldn't be a yes person. I'd be like, ma'am, this is not working. This is what you need to do. And you need to hire some people that really some people that know her music and know her, or based on the business moves that she's made. And also keep your ear to what's going on in the streets in regards to what the fans want and reissues and things of that nature. And it's like, especially with your music getting resurgence on the charts, especially Like a Prayer because of Deadpool and Wolverine. If she would have released that version from the film, trust to believe, she'd be rolling in the dough right now because the fans will want to purchase it. And, newer Madonna fans. But since we talk about Madonna, let's talk about her protege, Lady Gaga. I'm joking. I just want to throw that little shade up in there. Because she's reductive. Because she's what? Reductive. According to, we already know the whole tea behind why she said the reductive thing. We're not going to go into that. But anyway, so as I know, Lady Gaga performed in Paris for the 2024 Olympics. I finally got around to watching her performance yesterday. She did a good job. She was a little stiff in the dance, but Gaga's never been the greatest dancer or whatever. But she was up there doing her little wiggle and trotting around the stage, and the dancers were doing what needed to be done, and she gave a good performance. Like, I've definitely always said that Lady Gaga is definitely somebody who needs to consider getting into Broadway. I could definitely see her jumping up on stage and giving, like, maybe being in Chicago or something of that name, or Gypsy or something like that. Like, I can see her as like the Patti LuPone of this generation, even though Patti LuPone always be throwing the shade, but still, I could see her tackling Broadway. Maybe that should be the next thing that she does after she kind of takes a break from the music and the acting and stuff. Like, just do a little Broadway thing. I think it definitely would work. But anyway, so while she was over in Paris, when she did her performance or whatnot, she also surprised some of her French fans by previewing two new songs off her follow-up to Chromatica. So, Lady Gaga, it says on an Instagram story on Sunday, she teased the first listen to her follow-up to Chromatica, saying, "I'm so deeply touched by my French fans this week outside the hotel," she wrote before coming outside to play the new music. "I'm going to come out and say goodbye tonight with a few seconds of LG7. Gaga then, as promised, queued up some music as camera flashes lit up the night, and she pumped her fist while playing songs on a laptop from the sunroof of a limo. The two songs had thumping beats and bass-heavy keyboards, as well as lyrics, and were hard to decipher over the shouting of her amped-up French fans. I will say that it was irritating me when I'm like literally trying to listen. I had to go back so many times and try to listen to the music because everybody's screaming like, "Shut the fuck up." That's what I wanted to say. So many times, like, shut up and just listen. Give it a second. Y'all could get your excitement out and stuff once she's done playing the music. I understand people are excited, but I just feel like maybe this generation don't know how to handle y'all emotions. So y'all just be making all this damn noise and y'all don't know what to do with yourselves. But it was like, get a little taste of it. But from what I heard, because they said that according to what she may have, they said Gaga mouthed the words, "I've become what was holding me." But and so we don't know when the album's supposed to be coming out. We don't know, we don't pretty much know anything. Excuse me. And also, I would play it, but I'm not trying to get demonetized. I'm not trying to get any copyright infringements and all that other stuff. So if you do a little Google schmoogle, or if you actually go on my website, chrisavalon.com, I have the Twitter thing with the videos and everything on the website. So y'all can definitely go over there and check it out. Now, I will say this, the sound of it sonically, it sounds very industrial-esque. Now, as somebody who, now this didn't bother me as much because I'm like, Gaga has, and I know there were some people that were saying, well, will this go over with her fans? Well, you know, over in Europe, they love industrial music. I personally am an industrial music fan. I love KMFDM. I'm a fan of course, Nine Inch Nails. Like, I was obsessed growing up with Trent Reznor. Still am. I like his stuff, but she's going more for that industrial vibe. And here's the thing: this is not the first time Gaga has dabbled in industrial music. If you go back and listen to art pop, there's some elements on that album that have industrial sounds. If you listen to Heavy Metal Lover, that's an industrial-esque type of track. So industrial music is very aggressive, it's in your face, it's got a kind of like a it's like a cross between, it's got a, well, it's, she's still dabbling in electronic music because that's what industrial is. Industrial music is electronic music, but it also, they use a lot of rock sounds, so it's a lot of guitars, heavy drums, so it's got that dance music, but it's got a, you know, it's got that real nasty, aggressive rock and roll metal type of vibe, and she'll bring a sense of you know, a pop element to it, which is pretty much what Nine Inch Nails and so many others like them have done. Ministry, that's another, you know, industrial group that I was into. Apoptigma Berserk, VNV Nation. Like, I like all that type of, you know, that type of music. So I'm thinking that's probably the direction that she's going to be going in. So do I think the fans are going to be here for it? I don't see why not. I mean, she's dabbled in that sound before, but it seems like based off of the tracks that we heard, that this might be more of the sound that she is really going to push herself into, because it's like she did sort of like the dance pop house, the 90s house type sound, and Gaga is very much like a stadium artist. She's very rock and roll. And I feel like maybe the way she's thinking about this album based off the sounds, you know, the music that I've heard, that she's thinking of, oh, how would this sound if I'm playing it in a stadium for the next tour? And I know some people probably thinking, well, will there be hits on the song? I mean, on the album? Will she be able to have that big hit? And I feel like at this point, Gaga, it is no shade. And I don't think we should look at it in a negative way. She's a legacy act at this point. She's been in the business for 15 years, about as long as Nicki Minaj. She's already solidified herself in the industry as a pop force to be reckoned with. Yes, she's not as prominent as she once was. But Lady Gaga is one of those artists that's like, whenever I be working the stadiums and this, that, and the other, like I was watching the other day, Whoopi Goldberg was like, oh, I went to this she went to an old rock concert or whatever the case was. And she was like, yeah, rock and roll is back. I'm like, girl, rock and roll never left. Like, even if you're not charting on the charts, and I think people focus too much on charts, Spotify, numbers, all that crap. If you've been around a long enough time and you've solidified yourself in the business, it's not even about charts. It's not about chart placement. It's not about numbers. Yeah, that shit is cute or whatever. But once you go out on a tour and if you can sell out arenas, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. Lady Gaga will be set and she'll be fine for the rest of her life. She'll be selling out arenas all over the world, and people will come out and support her stuff and will see her perform because she's already an established name. So if even if this album doesn't do all that well, I guarantee you, because it's got that industrial vibe, it'll do huge in Germany, it'll do huge over in France, it'll do huge overseas. Now, as far as America goes, America can be so damn fickle when it comes to sounds or whatever. But with the success of people like Chappell Roan and the success of Charlie XCX, where their music is a bit on the aggressive side and not cookie cutter pop dance type stuff, then I definitely see Lady Gaga's upcoming album will definitely probably get a lot of people excited. And I will say, even though I have my issues with Gaga at times, like, you know, I have my love-hate relationships with a lot of pop acts. Based off of her doing the whole industrial sound, I'm looking forward to hearing what this new album sounds like. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Have you heard the snippets? Does it have you excited for what direction this album may be going into? I was going to say in or into. I couldn't decide on which one I wanted to say. But anyway, whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. Please hold as I get to them. Okay. Oh, you said reason why I don't be skipping my comments. Isn't this the first comment you posted? You ain't write nothing prior to. And it said, I'm thinking next year because I know she has a soundtrack album for the Joker musical, and they wouldn't want. Yeah, I'm not guessing. I was pretty much thinking that we're not getting the album until 2025. 2025, that's a fine time for us to get a new Gaga album. Like, I don't see like how they would want that to interfere with the Joker. Right now, she's going to focus on the Joker. Then she can focus on the new album and putting everything together in the photo shoots and the promoting the music and all that other stuff and giving us like this real dark sexual type of vibe in regards to, and like I said, I'm a huge industrial music fan. I know I don't talk a lot about it on the show. It's probably because there's never really been any stories where we need to kind of play into that. But like I said, it's like I've been a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. I've always really been into that whole industrial side. I remember this girl that I went to high school with, her name was Annette. She was a goth chick and she got me into like a lot of the industrial stuff. Even Marilyn Manson at one point dabbled in um industrial music. So that's what made me like start liking his stuff even more too, even though I was into the whole Antichrist Superstar, Mechanical Animals, that was more of like his David Bowie glam era. And then he started going more into the industrial stuff down the road. Hollywood, all that stuff. So, my like my friends, my musical taste is very diverse. That she changes it up every album, unlike a certain artist. Child. Well, Katie gonna stick to the rivers and the lakes that she used to, which is why that album's flopping. But or the singles. But I do like the fact that Gaga takes chances. And say what you want about art pop, and we have art flop. There was some bops on that album. There were some songs on art pop I liked. I didn't like the whole record, but there's certain songs on it that I will listen to. And I feel like that maybe with this industrial sound that she was dabbling in during that era, it's more of a fully realized concept and it's more focused. Whereas art pop, let's be clear, was all over the place in regards of its sound and the lyrics and some of the even the visuals. I said the Challenger soundtrack. Yeah, well, not it was produced by Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. That's why it was industrial. And so Halsey's last album in 2021 was industrial, and she worked with Trent Reznor on it. He also worked with. Yeah, it's funny how you just said that after I didn't even read it. And the funny thing is, what would have been a great album? I really wish would have happened, but unfortunately, she died, so we don't know if it'll ever happen. I remember one time in an interview, they asked Aaliyah who would be her dream producer that she would like to work with, and she said Trent Reznor. Bitch, I damn near fell out my damn chair because I was like. That made me love her even more because I'm like, this girl who, she does do like that whole futuristic type of sound, electronic R&B, hip hop, like so many different elements that she would bring to her music when she was working with Timberland. And then she went and said that she wanted to her dream was to work with Trent Reznor because she was a Nine Inch Nails fan. And to hear somebody say that, it's like you're like to hear like your the music you were into was so eclectic. And then that's why I'm like, I always look at people weird when it's like, if you like different types of music. I was like, I grew up listening to all different types of music. It was never that I only like, oh, if you're black, you're only supposed to listen to Brandy or R. Kelly or Jay-Z. Like, who said that? I feel like if you like music, like what you like. That's why I thought it was really cool. Like when I would work certain shows, like when I worked, and I'm so glad I'm not working that Slipknot concert next. That one and the Doobie Brothers, because I know there's gonna be all kinds of weird drug use and stuff going up in there with them people. So I'm so glad I'm not working it. Although I will say that the one I'm pretty much excited about concerts that I'm working, um, there was Waller's, Dylan Minette's band. They coming to my job next month. I'm looking forward to working that show. I was like, oh, you go see all the little girls up in there, and then you go see Dylan Minette up on stage. It said, to me, a legacy act is 1/4 of a century, 25 years. Only Britney, Bay, Xtina, and those late 90s artists are legacy acts. Well, I don't know. Lady Gaga's been around for like a decade and a half. She's got enough songs that she can do where, she's pretty much can go out and perform on stage. And have enough songs that she can do a full on show. She's got like, as she says, 7 albums. So if Gaga makes this album aesthetic, have a not BDSM. I was like, you had to spell out BD, BEDE, BDSM photo shoot, some nods to Germany. Because I'm like, yeah, when you do the industrial sound, it's like you have to do a nod. Child, I remember I bought this album from this artist. I don't know if y'all ever heard of them. I think he's like a DJ or something or another. Adriano Kanzian. And I remember I bought that album and the photos that was up in there, I gagged. Because it was like he was sucking dick. He was doing all that. I said, let me find out y'all putting this stuff in an album cover. I got it somewhere in a box in storage. But yeah, I was like, I gagged when I saw that album cover. I can't remember the name of it. See, now you're gonna make me look that shit up. Hold on. Yeah, he was a musical artist. I can't remember which album it was. It might have been called Pornography if I'm not. He's like an EDM producer, but I can't remember like the actual name of it. Oh wait, I do know what it is. Oh yeah, it was called Pornography. I know I was right. I was like, can I show y'all the full? Well, I could probably. Well, I am on Amazon, so yeah. Let me just mirror the photo for a second in case some of y'all want to run out there and buy that record. I guess you can find it on Amazon. Yeah. So this was the photo that's the album cover. But when you look in the inside of it, um, child, I gagged when I saw some of the photos. I'm like, y'all showing meats in the mouth and all kinds of other things. That album, I forget when it came out though. Well, it's like $6.59. But yeah, I don't remember when that album. I don't know what year that album. It probably came out like 2001 or something or another. But yeah, child, that I clutched my pearl because I was like, I can't believe y'all putting this stuff in here. But I guess the Europeans, that's how they are. They're not as uptight about sex as we are in America. So but I do hope that she does like a whole S&M photo shoot. So they said Gaga came at the end of the pure sales era, so she isn't going anywhere. The little monsters are loyal. We leave them alone, but they still rile up Madonna versus Gaga, which I don't know why, because Madonna said she had no beef with Madonna, even though Madonna said she had no beef with Gaga, even though, they try to spin it like she did. We saw that whole video that came out with the whole reductive thing, and it was showing like what led up to her saying that word. So I don't know why people run around still trying to create this narrative that they have he said, I wrote before, bitch, don't be spoiling bits of the movie before I see it tomorrow. What a look, that's a spoiler cameo. I ain't tell you the other ones, but I get what you mean. But you said you got into industrial music during your emo era. Go ahead. Go ahead, emo era. It's like, no, it's like, well, she gotta be. Nobody cared about that damn album. It's like, it's quiet now, and I feel chose her album over Wicked. I feel she was told by Universal Wicked or Let Eternal Sunshine flop. She pissed them off. That word is she's no longer making movies because she was told in her contract that she couldn't make music. But she said that's what I do during the strike. Well, here's the thing: if music is your passion, then stick to your passions. If you're not willing to play the game and do what these studios do, because remember back in the day, I don't even know if they were still doing that, but back in the day, the studios used to control the actors and tell them what they could do and who they could be in relationships with and how to drum up publicity and all the other stuff, which is why you had a lot of the closeted actors who were matched up with certain movie star actresses to kind of give this whole situation. So I don't know if they might still be doing that, but it's just like if Ariana Grande is on a contract with a certain studio, there's rules she got to abide by. If you want to be your individual self, then just stick to the music. I mean, there's a better check when you do a movie, but if she can't do what she wants to do as an artist and express herself in that way, then it's just like, yeah, stick to the music. Fuck the movies. Making movies because she was told, oh yeah, I did. I just read that already. I just didn't put it up. Aaliyah is my Aquarius rising sister, always being different and standing out from the rest of the basic R&B. Okay, because it was like, look, um, Aaliyah is the blueprint. There's been so many girls that have basically taken the blueprint that Aaliyah pretty much set forth and was basically they carried it because Aaliyah was that girl in the beginning. Like if there was no Aaliyah, if it wasn't for Aaliyah, there would be no girls like Ashanti and some of these other ones that we got over the years. Even a solo Beyonce. Yeah, well, first of all, I'm not even that excited to see no damn Wicked. Like, I'm not even the demo for that. Although I wanted to see that play, Oh Mary. I need to get a ticket to that before they close. I've been hearing so many great things about that play, and so many celebrities have been going to see it. I heard Madonna went, Whoopi Goldberg's gone. There's been so many celebrities that have gone to see that Oh Mary play, and my friend Bianca Lee is in it, so I definitely need to go see that as well. But anyway, since we was over here talking about Timberland, let's talk about him and Nelly Furtado, who Nelly, has a new album coming out called Seven, which is actually the same day Katy Perry is coming out with her album, which she's the next on the docket. I like to organize, put everything in order so that way it has a flow. Because so Katy Perry and Nelly Furtado are dropping their albums on September 20th. Virgo season. And she, while I guess promoting the album, she was spilling tea and talking about doing a possible residency. Which I'm like, this seems like what everybody's doing. So she did an interview with NME, and Nelly, who was 45, revealed the exciting possibility of a Las Vegas residency alongside longtime collaborator Timbaland, who's 52. The pop icon discussed her upcoming album and reflected on her career, including her groundbreaking 2006 album Loose. Because, I've been listening to Nelly since Whoa Nelly. But yeah, when Loose came out and she kind of took this complete, 360 from doing what she was doing before to doing that little folk, hip hop, fado music type of vibe, where she was like the girl in the big baggy jeans with the white beater and the shell top sneakers to like being like the sexy, sultry, futuristic, sexy mama. She was living for it. And definitely, I would have to say that her collaboration with Timbaland at that time definitely worked. Which I think may have laid the foundation for Madonna wanting to work with him on her Hard Candy album. But I always say when it comes to that, she was 2 years too late getting on that whole Timbaland bandwagon because I feel like he started losing his gas around that time and momentum. Madonna's collaboration with Pharrell worked for me more so than her production sessions with Timbaland and Justin Timberlake. So she said, I think it will be really fun for Timbaland and I to do a Vegas residency of Loose. We could play the album from beginning to end because I do think it captures the world we were in at the time. Now, Furtado, who is set to release her first album in 7 years on September 20th, also spoke about the process behind Loose, which spawned hits including Say It Right, Man Eater, and Promiscuous. The album itself was certified 3 times platinum by the RIAA back in November of 2022, and selling over 3 million equivalent album units in the US since its 2006 release. She says, we didn't want it to sound perfect. We wanted it to sound real, Furtado now says in retrospect. The idea was to lay my trippy, melancholic, bittersweet melodies and lyrics over Tim's heavy beats and make a dreamy type of mix within that. Elsewhere during her discussion with NME, Furtado revealed that her 20-year-old daughter Nevis put in input as an A&R on her new album, helped push Seven in the right direction. Because she was saying before that her daughter actually works in the music industry. But I'm like, let me find out that, she took time off to raise her child, but now her daughter's an A&R. She said at one point she shared her daughter tried to encourage her against using auto-tune. She said she'd literally be like, Mom, why are you using auto-tune on this song? You think it sounds cool, but it doesn't. Furtado told the outlet with a laugh. She also reminded me that people love my music because it's three-dimensional, she added, which made me dig even deeper. The new album arrives after Furtado welcomed both a son and another daughter since dropping 2017's The Ride. The pop star also recalled that she hadn't set foot in the studio in about 3 years before working on her forthcoming project. I had no idea she had 2 other children since, giving birth to her daughter, because her daughter's grown, so she ain't got to worry about her no more because she's all doing her own thing. But she's got 2 small kids now. So it says, but something told me I need to get back in. This is what she told NME. I knew I wanted to make an album that reminded me of the vibes and energy you get at a sound check when you hear your voice coming back at you loud from the speakers. Furtado and Timberland teaming up in Vegas is a long shot either, as the creative duo have most recently worked together in September when she joined forces with Justin Timberlake for track Keep Going Up. The team up marked the trio's first collaborative effort since the 2017 smash Give It To Me. She and Timberland also joined each other on stage at the 2023 VMAs when they presented the Song of the Year award to Taylor Swift. So there you have it with that. Now, in regards to this whole situation of a Timberland and Nelly Furtado residency, I could definitely see that working. But I was just like, okay, so y'all just going to do the whole loose album? That's it. And I know there are cuts from the album that never made the official track list. But if you go on Apple Music, there is like unreleased songs that were added to the docket. So you can hear like the deep cuts and all the other stuff from that album that never made the final cut. But as far as like the Timbaland stuff goes, because I know she's done collaborations with Timbaland on his solo records or when he was doing other things. I think when he did with Magoo, may he rest in peace. And, you know, her collaboration with Tim and Justin Timberlake. So they can have all those come out. But I don't think Justin Timberlake is going to be joining them on the residency if it happens. You know, every time they get out there and perform, they're just going to have to hire, I guess, another singer to come out there and do some of the stuff with them. But I don't know if would people be interested in wanting to an entire loose residency of just those songs? Like, I don't know if that would work as a residency. And to me, to be honest, I like Timbaland as a producer, but he's a horrible performer. He cannot perform. Like he has horrible stage presence. I remember seeing even from back in the day when I would watch clips, but then also isn't he also the opening act on Missy's tour? So I've seen like some of the stuff that he's been doing. Like he gets up there and he's been performing. He's got no stage presence. He don't move around really that much. He's shouting. It's just a mess. And you having him up there by himself, that just ain't working. Like I gotta come up with something. Like he doesn't have that oomph, that je ne sais quoi, I guess, that Missy Elliott would have. So I don't know many people would want to go and just see a residency of just that album. Now, if Nelly Furtado was doing a residency, and she would bring out Timbaland during the show and they would do like their cuts together, I could totally see that. But as far as like a Timbaland and Nelly Furtado residency of just that record, I don't know if that's enough to get people interested in wanting to pay money to see that out in Vegas. But that's just my opinion. I'm curious to hear what you guys' opinion on this is. So would you be here for a residency with Nelly Furtado and Timbaland? Or is it just something like, okay, off of one record, like make it make sense? What is the show going to be, like a half an hour? So whatever you guys think about this, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Robert said that's why Pharrell had 8 tracks on Hard Candy versus the 5 tracks. Neptunes did the Japanese bonus track Ring My Bells. There's 8 out of the 13 officially released. And it's probably that she probably felt that, you know what, the direction we were going in, the Pharrell songs hit harder than the Timbaland stuff. The Timbaland stuff did sound like rejected songs that maybe Nelly Furtado didn't think of doing and Madonna reworked them. So that's what it felt like. I would go see that Missy 30 minutes before Sierra appears. I'm like, at least do Missy videos as the opening act. Yeah, because I was in there like, Timbaland is not a good performer live. And to me, it's just like, yeah, why did y'all even add him to the thing? You should have just kept it as Sierra, Busta, and Missy. Missy just closes out the show. That to me works. Whereas y'all had Timbaland come out there too. It was like, girl, is this your way of like paying him whatever? Like, it's like a favor you trying to do for him? Because it's like, as a performer, Timbaland is not it. And this is the thing that irritates me about producers. I don't know why we're in an era now that producers want to be seen and heard instead of just staying in the background. What's wrong with just staying in the background and collecting your coins and just letting the artist be the artist? A lot of producers now want to come out and they want to perform and they want to be musicians and it's like, no, some of y'all just don't have that X factor. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. At least your creative genius is expressed in other ways rather than you getting on stage and trying to perform, because it's like, maybe in your head you think you the shit, or you think you LL Cool J or Will Smith, who, sidebar, have y'all heard them 2 new songs from Will Smith? The one he performed at the BET Awards and the recent one that he uploaded on his YouTube channel. I think he shot it at the Louvre. Everybody seemed to be shooting at the Louvre all of a sudden. It's like Beyonce and Jay-Z shoot at the Louvre, everybody at the Louvre. Um, and he's like talking about like how the people are coming at him from negativity and all this other stuff. And now he's trying to be sort of like this. It's like you trying to give Kirk Franklin tease with his new music. And I'm like, sir, this is not you. Like all of a sudden you're trying to be this serious artist. And that's not what people know him for. People know him for getting jiggy with it. People know him for Welcome to Miami. People know him for Summertime. And I'm not trying to hear him do inspirational, red table talk type hip hop. Like, get out of here with that. I'm sitting there watching this like, sir, get out of here with this. And then, of course, all the folks, black people, eating it up because he mentioned God or whatever. And that's what irritates me about people. Somebody say certain buzzwords, all of a sudden y'all get in line lockstep. And it's like, just because somebody say God and some shit, don't mean the song is good. Now I'm glad that Will Smith is back in the good graces of the people, and that his movie career is taking back off. And now there was a story I saw the other day with that they're eyeing they've already got eyes on a certain director that's going to do I'm Legend 2, which I'm excited for because it's him and Bakari Jordan, Michael B. Jordan, I should say. And I'm excited for the news that's been coming out in regards to that. But as far as the music goes, it's like, no, that ain't it. But anyway, let's move on because I wanted my little tangent about Will Smith. He had to get that straight. And let's talk about Miss Perry, who is announcing her new single, Lifetimes. So now, after failing miserably with her first comeback single, Woman's World, hot and cold singer Katy Perry has officially announced her song Lifetimes as the next single off her upcoming album 143. Now, Monday morning, the pop star wrote to her 206 million Instagram followers, Lifetime's August 9th song plus video, pre-saved now, katie.to/lifetimes. The 39-year-old singer recently shared the track was inspired by her and fiance Orlando Bloom's daughter Daisy, who turns 4 August 20th. How long they been engaged? Oh my gosh, she was born literally a day before my father. My father was August 21st. Now, Perry coordinated a dance with influencer duo Brooke Blewett and Jess Qualter to accompany the teaser snippet. An Irish singing duo Jedward appeared in the clip. I remember hearing about Jedward. Aren't they homosexual? I'm gonna hear something another that they were. But anyway, it says it comes less than 1 month after her comeback single Woman's World failed to impress fans. The Lifetime's announcement post has so far collected 165,000 likes as fans are anxious to see the music artist recover from the lackluster rollout of Woman's World. Now I should probably pull that up. Hold on a second while I pull that up because I had to make sure the sound isn't on. So yeah, this is like what basically is online right now. That she's been playing the song, and then I guess she was over in London and she was performing the song, and people are living for it. And here's the thing: I will say this: the song is cute or whatever. It's definitely got that signature Katy Perry dance pop vibe. But child, the people was reading her in the comments, and they said, girl, just go retire on some tropical paradise. You don't need fame this bad, do you? Another person said, midlife crisis, sing hard. um, and then another person that if I can see it, it basically said, does anyone else think that it should have been the first single? And I think that was the overall argument that a lot of people were saying, is that this should have been the first single for the new album rather than Woman's World. But I feel like with Woman's World, she was looking for something that was going to be like that typical first single pop song release. The only problem is what we've said many a times, Woman's World would have worked if it would have came out 10 years ago. She released it 10 years too late. It sounds dated. So she says, Lifetimes is a song that I wrote inspired by my daughter. Obviously, I tell her I love you before she goes to bed every night, but I've started telling her, will you find me in every lifetime? And she says, yes. The singer-songwriter shared another anecdote saying, the sweetest thing is we've been all over Europe this summer, and we've been to a lot of beaches and bought a big stack of chocolate gold coins. And when you're building sandcastles, I will hide them as she's digging, and she will find them, and she loves finding chocolate coins. Which I hope that's sealed really tight, because if I had to eat a chocolate damn coin that's full of sand, I'd have been pissed. So the other day I said, will you find me in every lifetime? And she said yes, and we'll find chocolate coins together. The Entertainers album, as we said in the prior video when I was talking about Nelly Furtado, comes out on September 20th. Now, discussing the title of the album, she said on a podcast, "That's my angel numbers. It's what I see when I need guidance or confirmation or just confidence in I'm in the right place, right time." But then they said that's the numbers that you use on like the cell phone back or a pager. 143 means I love you or something or another. Like she all of a sudden come out with a new number. It's like, girl, stop the lies. But yeah, so that's the official single cover in case y'all haven't seen it. And I've said it many a times. What hurt her in the first single was the fact that the song not only sounded dated, but it was also co-produced by Dr. Luke. I'm also hearing this song also got Dr. Luke's stamp on it, based on the reports. So I don't know how well this song will go over. I know the song does sound like a cute little dance pop song. It's probably another another one that clocks in at 2.5 damn minutes. Have a strange feeling that's what that one's gonna be. But nevertheless, as I said before, because media, I am curious to hear what the new album sounds like. I'm gonna listen to it and give my overall opinion on it. But so far, this rollout to me just reeks of desperation. It's not looking good. And while you could be in a room with because people are just so obsessed with celebrities. While you could be in a room and just be so excited and fake the excitement that oh yeah, we get to hear this song before everybody else because it's always ego that's involved with a lot of situations. The reality is that I don't know if people are all that excited for the single rollout or the new era. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you excited for the new single? I'm sure y'all probably have heard it on social media. I don't necessarily, I mean, if you go to her Instagram, you can actually listen to the song and hear a snippet of Lifetimes. I mean, if you like it, if you hate it, if you don't give a damn, let me know what your comments think. I mean, what you think in the comments down below. Okay, so nuh-uh. So welcome back, Queen of Flop Farty Berry. Not Farty Berry. Because I don't know why she thought she would get away with it when Kim Petras couldn't. Do you think that's also why Kim Petras' music is not really doing all that well is because of her association with Dr. Luke? Like, we hear so much about Kim Petras. Feed the Beast, that album didn't really do good, although I did like that Feed the Beast song. It's too damn short, but I did like the Feed the Beast song. And I guess maybe, but I haven't really been paying attention to Kim Petras in that way, where I would know, like, has her records been flopping because of her association with Dr. Luke? And how I've heard that she's defended him. So I don't know. Said, child. He unfollowed Grimes and is keeping physical full custody of the kids and have her parental rights stripped after she defended his daughter. He's disgusting. He's vindictive. He's an asshole. There's got to be a way that she can get those kids away from him. I hope that it has become a point that the only way Grimes is going to be able to have a relationship with her kids is when they get to be a Britney Spears, Sean and Jaden type situation, where it's like they got to be of age for them to be wanting to come around and have something to do with their mother. Like, he's just an asshole. And there's a special place in hell for him. I heard he's also being dragged because he created some fake AI video with Kamala Harris's voice and is posting it all over Twitter. So the man is sick in the head. Something's definitely wrong with him. Somebody threw shade at him on social media. It was like, with all the things he's doing, he said, no wonder God made him look the way he looked. I said, ooh. Basically calling his ass ugly, which, quiet as it's kept, he is. Elon is not a looker. But anyway. So, since we brought her up earlier, let's talk about Madonna. I know I should have went Madonna because, we always do that on the show. Let's talk about Madonna. And there was a story that came out because we've been talking about albums and things. So, Toby Gad is basically opening up about his sessions of working with Madonna while they were recording the Rebel Heart album. So, what's it like to be fired by Madonna? Don't ask Toby Gad. He wouldn't know. But he does know what it's like to almost be fired by her, and it sounds pretty intense. Now, Gad, who wrote 11 tracks with Madonna on her 2014 album Rebel Heart, recalled what happened during a tense moment between them in the studio. Now, speaking to Mail Online, he said, Madonna is an incredible performer and her stage shows are unbelievable. She's iconic, but vocally, I felt maybe we could expand it a little bit. I mean, I've worked with some incredible vocalists, and I felt maybe Madonna can get just a little better with the performance. So I kept telling her, do it again and try to feel it more and try it again and again. Maybe just put more passion into it and so on. The writer then said he heard a rumor Madonna fires people by announcing that she's going to the bathroom and that her assistant will pull the performer aside and tell them they have to be let go. Worried the same thing was going to happen to him, Toby added, at some point she was like, fuck you, Toby, I'm not singing this again. And I instinctively said, fuck you, Madonna. You are singing this again. And then there was silence in the room, and I was waiting for her to go to the bathroom. And then that didn't happen. Somehow we bonded over this, and we spent together another 5 weeks in total. Now, Toby first met Madonna at a writing camp and described coming face to face with the Queen of Pop as an intimidating experience. He said, I did a writing camp with Madonna in New York, and on the first day she showed up. You don't know whether she's going to turn up or not, and her assistant comes in and starts tidying things up and brings in incense, candles, and lights from everywhere. Then the bathroom gets locked off and you have to use the one downstairs, so it's a whole royal preparation. Eventually, lights get dimmed and she walks in. It's intimidating at first, but we had a week together and she recorded some songs and I was quite honest with her. He added, there were rumors going around that if you cross her the wrong way, if you do something she doesn't like, or you say something she doesn't like, then she will go to the bathroom and then the assistant will come out and say, here's your ticket home and the taxi is waiting downstairs. You have 5 minutes to vacate the premises. She does not want to see you when she comes back. So we were all a little nervous, but thankfully that didn't happen to us. Now, Gad and Madonna, as we said earlier, ended up writing 11 songs over the course of several weeks. And Toby was speaking as he releases his new album, Diaries, the hits, which has new versions of some of the biggest tracks he has co-written, including Beyonce's If I Were a Boy, Big Girls Don't Cry by Fergie, and John Legend's All of Me. He has teamed up on the album with up-and-coming stars like Selena Sharma, Keke Palmer, and Angelina Jordan. And you thought I was going to say Jolie? As well as X Factor winner Louisa Johnson to cover the songs. Now, Rebel Heart, as we know, was Madonna's 13th studio album and spawned 4 singles, Living for Love, Ghost Town, Bitch, I'm Madonna, and Hold Tight, as well as an 82-date world tour that earned $169.8 million with a total of 1,045,479 tickets sold. So there you have it. And here's the thing. I think Madonna likes people being around her that's not going to bullshit her. So I think that was probably what it was that he was afraid. He was like, fuck you, I'm not singing that song again. He was like, oh, fuck you. Yes, you are. Fuck you too, bitch. You are singing the song again. And he stood up to her and he thought it was going to be the end. And she was just like, oh, he clocked me. My soul's been clocked. He put me in my place. I kind of like it. And I think sometimes with celebrities, sometimes you got to put them in a damn place unless they got an ego so damn big. I was like, okay, bitch, then you're going to flounder on your own and figure it out. But I could definitely understand how, like, when it comes to writers' camps, there's a lot of people that aren't used to that. It's like, I'm not working with 6, 7 songwriters. Like, as an artist, get me in a room with 1, maybe 2 people, and let's come up with some stuff, throw some ideas out there, work on some tracks, work on, oh, this line came in my head, this melody came in my head, what do you think of this? That, like, bouncing off ideas. I love the whole collaborative effort. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day, and a damn show wasn't built by itself. So I totally get where Toby's coming from, and I'm glad that we got to know this experience in regards to Madonna's, that you know what, she's very much serious about her stuff, and they were saying that there's this reputation and stuff that she has. Yes, she is very much a hard ass, but you have to be in this business. And I have no problem as someone where it's just like, okay, you did something like this, but excuse me, I truly believe that you could do this a little better in regards to the performance, in regards to the vocal, in regards to this situation. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great songs that are on the Rebel Heart album. My issue with the Rebel Heart record is that it feels a little bloated. Like, there's a lot of tracks that's on that record that I feel like it's just all over the place. And then I think also what hurt the album was that it got leaked a week before it was supposed to come out. And then it was like so many different versions. We heard like the regular standard version, then I think it was like 18 tracks, then it was like 25 tracks. So that was like the first record I think came out that it was just bloated. But I will say this, I love the tour. I definitely listen to, and look, let's also not forget, with this big controversy, we're about to about the Da Vinci painting and the Last Supper and all this other mess. Madonna did that during her show, the Rebel Heart Tour. What song was it? Wasn't it Like a Prayer? I think it was Like a Prayer when she did that song where she was like tied up and it was the bondage and they were all at the table. This is before Holy Water. So like she goes in from Holy Water into that song and there's that whole thing with the table and all that other mess. So because it's been a while since I've seen the Rebel Heart tour. But I say all this to say I like the record, even though it wasn't her most perfect album and the rollout was a mess and things leaked and there was a lot of behind the scenes drama. And then the whole writers' camp that they try to shove her in when she's not used to working in that kind of way. So it was good to hear that this, came from Toby Gad and he was spilling some insider tea because one of the things I always like about artists and stuff, I've always been curious of like how sessions will come about and how artists are like, what they're like when they're in the studio and people behind the scenes are working with them. So I saw this to say, what did y'all think of this story? Did y'all have as much as a key as I did spilling it? The tea? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments that I hear Madonna is a one take. Yeah, I've heard those stories too. That she's someone that she wants to capture the moment of the song. That it's just when I sing the song that's the moment that you're gonna get. It's the emotion in that moment of when I was singing it. There are people that will do like. There's some producers that I guess are like very much Stanley Kubrick. Or we gonna do 100 takes of this vocal. It's like, Chad, you gonna blow up my damn throat. So I can't be out here just doing all these damn takes because you're trying to frustrate them to the point where you can get that emotion, get them there to that point where they give you that emotion. So I've heard that she doesn't do a lot of takes of of her music. 50 demos. I think a lot of times when artists record music, like you hear them, they'll say, we recorded 100 songs and um we judged it down to like 12 and the album is under 35 minutes. So, or 15 and it's under 35. So, you'll hear stuff like that. Rebel Heart would have been so much better if it wasn't too much. So I'm not, and MDNA is not one of my favorite records. It's one of my least favorite records from her. There's a couple of songs on there that I love. Like I definitely love I'm Addicted. I love Masterpiece. But it is definitely a record that I'm not really here for. And like with Rebel Heart, it's like I love Holy Water, I love Ghost Town, I like what was the other one that I was saying? Damn, I forgot the name of it. Oh yeah, I like Double Pray too. I also liked Hold Tight. There was so many good bops on that record in the first half. I even like some of the vocal on the Rebel Heart track. And so she said Rebel Heart was supposed to be two discs, one disc Rebel, the other side Heart, Holy Water. It was Holy Water. And so one of the most iconic things was her Britney and Christina doing like and Justin Timberlake trying to say he wasn't bothered. Child, your face said otherwise during that kiss. One of the songs had like 3 or 4. But yeah, I remember that. They changed up the sonically. They changed the sound. Wasn't that also the same? Was that the same album she was working with Avicii on? Because I do remember that there were some songs that may he rest in peace. There was some song that she was working on that had sort of like that Avicii dance type of vibe. Because I remember somebody sent me the leak demos, and I had them all on an iPad. I mean iPod, not an iPad, iPod. Back when iPods was a thing, and I think I downloaded it from like I ripped it from SoundCloud or something or another, and it had like that whole sound or whatever. So there were different versions of the songs, and then it became what it became. Said Best and I had a version with totally different lyrics. Yeah, she just kept changing up a lot of the songs on there too. So it also felt that maybe the album there was a lot of insecurity on her part because it was like it lacked direction. There was one idea that was here, then halfway through it, might have your insecurity was coming out, and you're sitting over here changing some of the versions. Rebel Heart is her best album of the 2010s, though. MDNA. Well, yeah, I'm not really a fan of Madam X either. I get the artistic um creativity behind Madam X, but yeah, it's not one of my favorites from her. And it said there are 5 demos of For Hold Tight. It was released as a single in Italy. Well, I need to get that. I probably can go on I wonder if I can go on Amazon and look and see if they have it. It said Rebel Heart has a version that was done. Yeah, that's what I said. That she worked a lot with Avicii on that record, and then they just changed stuff up. Because I remember hearing some songs where it was like, oh my God, what? She should have released the Avicii versions of this all the time. But I feel like I'm the only one that likes to defend some. No, you're not. I defend it too. You can ask Robert that question. I'm always talking about American Life and how much I will windmill for that record. I definitely, I loved them when it first came out, and I be knowing the whole, I be knowing the whole, the rap, drinking a soy latte, doing double shot, it go through my body, and I'm satisfied. I drive a Mini Cooper, and I'm feeling stupid duper. Get a Jimmy, I'm a trooper, and I'm satisfied. I do yoga and Pilates, and the room is full of hotties, so I'm checking out the bodies, and I'm satisfied. I'm drinking on the isotopes. This metaphysics shit is dope, but though this can get me. Oh, I'm satisfied. I do a yoga and a manager, an agent, and a chef. 3 nannies, and an assistant, and a driver, and a jet. Okay, let me stop. That to me, that album is what Rebel Heart should have been, darker and more controversial. Okay. And it started with Avicii, but his health crisis, him sobering up, led to why he's not here. So she worked with Diplo and learned DJs and superstars from her era. That wasn't the case. Yeah, it wasn't her case, because the thing was, working with DJs is a collaborative effort. It was back in the day, like they were being behind the scenes, they were producing stuff. Now you're looking at DJs where it's like they're doing Coachella and they're doing all these festivals, and they're the headliners now. And I don't know how that to me, I've just never felt like, I mean, yeah, DJs, because I told you I did a show with a DJ, and it's like, while the show and everything was good, you had the laser lights, you had the pyro, you had all this other stuff going on. Like, I'm like, how do you make that interesting? Because like, yeah, you have the DJ, but you need like a performer up there to kind of give a show. Just us vibing out to music in an arena just kind of look kind of boring. He said, don't forget, 2 steps behind this to Gaga that led to controversy. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's a version of Wash All Over Me done by Avicii funny enough, I could not remember the name of the damn song. And thank you, because you was inside my head. That was a song too. I do agree. That version by Avicii of Wash All Over Me is actually like my favorite version from that record. I didn't particularly care for the original version of that song. I'm like, you should have used this version. It's funny because I haven't really listened to Rebel Heart in a long time. I can't remember all the names of the songs off the top of my head. She worked with Blood Pop then when he was known as Blood Diamond. Yeah, and Gaga ended up working with Blood Pop. So anyway, it said she joked she wanted to call the album are where are the stems, because she said there was a lot of back and forth emails. But it's like nobody would have understood what that meant. So you always got to come up with a universal title, because they're like, stems, what the hell are you talking about? You talking about that thing that was in that movie Upgrade, where it was like STEM, that they put him in. If y'all seen Upgrade, though the Marshall Green character ends up paralyzed, they put the stem inside his body and he gets these powers and all this other stuff. I always thought they were supposed to make a TV series of that. Whatever happened to that? They were supposed to make a TV series. I thought it was going to get a sequel, something or another. I just think like maybe it just died out, that idea. But anyway, child, let's move on to this foolishness, and let's talk about Jodie Sweetin clapping back at her former Full House sister, Candace Cameron Bure. Now, please hold while I pull up this picture, because, context. So the Tanner sisters are fighting again because Full House and Fuller House alum Jodie Sweetin is defending the 2024 Olympics opening ceremony after conservatives such as her former TV sister Candace Cameron Bure attacked a portion of the show featuring drag queens. Now, on Monday, Jodie shared 2 different posts on her Instagram stories, seemingly making a dig at her TV sister, Candace Cameron Bure, in response to Bure's take on a moment from the 2024 Paris Olympics opening ceremony. Now, during Friday's ceremony, some conservative viewers, including Bure, took issues with what they perceived to be a group of drag queens recreating Leonardo da Vinci's interpretation of the Last Supper. However, the moment was actually meant to depict the feast of Dionysius, a celebratory moment meant to pay tribute to the Greek gods of Mount Olympus, the namesake of the Olympic Games. Which is why I find it funny that there's been a lot of American people that keep saying, well, what does this have to do with the Olympics and the children, the children? It's like, you do know that a lot of things have been taken from Greek mythology, including Catholicism. So she said, tell me you don't know about art history without telling me you don't know about art or history. This is what Sweetin wrote alongside a reel mocking those who misunderstood the moment and used it to perpetuate hate against drag queens. Bure was one of a handful of celebrities to complain about the moment, despite it never having been intended to represent the religious artwork. That's because Christian people just want to be outraged about everything and any damn thing because it keeps them in the news and it keeps them relevant. So she goes, it was pretty clear it was Dionysus who arrives at the table. Paris Olympics artistic director Thomas Joly said in a French language interview. Why is he there? Because Dionysus is the Greek god of festivities and wine and is the father of Sequana, the goddess of the Seine River. Sweetin also shared a post in her Instagram stories breaking down the history of the feast of Dionysus, saying the drag queens of the Olympics were recreating the feast of Dionysus, not the Last Supper, the post explained. And even if you thought it was a Christian reference, what's the harm? Why is it a parody and not a tribute? Can drag queens not be Christians? No, because anything homosexual is considered a sin. Anything outside of whatever they believe is a sin. But as we said in yesterday's video, and I'm not recapping that one because that one was a little long in the tooth. Y'all can get the recaps by watching yesterday's episode. But for the most part, it's just like, you know what? Some of these Christian people, the Candace Cameron type, y'all be some of the most judgmental, uptight SOBs that we've ever encountered. And y'all be the main reason why a lot of people, particularly homosexuals, turn their back on religion or the church, because God says, come as you are, right? Or love thy neighbor as love thyself and all that other mumbo jumbo. But then when people show up as who they are, when people want to be welcomed, y'all thumb y'all nose up like y'all are, God's Messiah, like y'all his spokes bitch. And nobody died and made Candace Cameron Bure and her even loony ass brother, Kirk, the spokespeople of the Lord and Savior. So kudos to Sweetin for Jodie to come out throwing shade at her TV sister, who I believe she's always kind of throwing subtle jabs at her. It kind of makes me wonder. You know what? Also, I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Back in the day when they were on Full House together growing up, I wonder what Candace was like on set, being trying to get in the whole Hollywood situation. But then you got these uppity Christian folks. Was she always like that growing up? Was she a nuisance on set? Was she irritating everybody? What her religious beliefs? So he said, though Sweetin didn't call out Bure directly, first of all, she didn't need to call her out directly. We knew who she was talking about, especially with the timing. So she went and said, to watch such an incredible and wonderful event that's going to take place over the next 2 weeks and see the opening ceremonies completely blaspheme and mock the Christian faith with their interpretation of the Last Supper was disgusting. This is what Bure said in her Instagram video. Yeah, I just had to read it real quick because I don't want to have to subject y'all to her vitriol again. Y'all was tortured enough yesterday. Bad enough we get tortured with them horrible ass Lifetime movies and Hallmark movies and whatever that American Family Network movies that she be making. I don't want to have to torture y'all with her actual personality over on Instagram. She then edited the post with a follow-up, knowing that she wasn't buying the Dionysus explanation, and even if she did, it was inappropriate in her opinion. So she's going to go off and say what she wants to say. She's going to double down. She's going to stand 10 toes down on her beliefs, which is why, people like her cannot be reasoned with. They can't be bargained with. They're not willing to be open-minded and understanding people are different and that the world does not revolve around Christianity and Catholicism. I think it's because I was going to say Christianity and Catholicism. It's like I mashed the words together where I said Christianity. I was lisping. But when it comes to Christianity, the world does not revolve around American religious beliefs. The world's a whole lot bigger. And the way that the Europeans handle religion and sexuality and celebration and talking about the Olympics and art and creativity, something that Candace plays in. She's supposed to be an artist, right? But the bitch don't know shit about art. And as somebody who went to film school, I had to take an art history class. So I had to learn about Leonardo da Vinci. I had to learn about Monet and Manet and, all the other artists and painters and sculptors and all those things because I had to take art history in college. So I'm glad that Jodie said what she said. And you know what? Came in and clap back that when she needed to. And look, at least out of the Tanner sisters, at least one of them paid attention and when in art class. So, excuse me, I've been gassy today. I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever y'all thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, let's get to a couple of these comments and see what everybody is saying. So I use stems when I remix songs. But that's what I said. Like those are music terms. So I don't think a lot of people would understand what stems are and all that stuff. So you gotta explain things. But people are like, what's a stem? And if you gotta sit there and explain titles and things of that nature, then it's not a good idea. You gotta simplify stuff for these folks, unfortunately. So I got an email that there's a context of remix Illusion by Dula Pete. Okay. Well, you better I want to hear the song when you're done. But let me find out you out here doing Dula Pete remixes. And so I got blocked by Dead. I remember somebody said Dead Mouse 5 one time. I was like, chat, it's Dead Mouse. When I tagged him and Madonna in a photo of him and Madonna with a poster of the ecstasy drug, my post said, has anybody seen my friend Molly? He was pissed. Child, don't anybody checking for no damn Dead Mouse. He said, Candace said she was disheartened to see the drag. Child, fuck her. We don't give out that bitch. I can't stand her or her brother. You and me both. And it said, no more Full House reunion. I think, well, I don't think anybody, I don't see a Full House. Look, even after Fuller House wrapped, I don't see a Full House reunion or anything happening. I'm sure that maybe they'll do like a 40th, who knows when the damn show came out. If they ever decide to do a 40th anniversary or whatever, how many decade point anniversary, milestone anniversary for Entertainment Weekly, I'm sure they'll get them all together in the room. But for a shoot and to interview them and stuff. But other than that, I do not see a Full House reunion of any kind on the screen, on the small screen, ever happening. I think Full House was a moment in time in the 80s and somewhat in the 90s, and Fuller House was good for the Gen Z generation. Fuller House. It says, sorry to be specific, American Christians like to be outraged by everything. They should focus on having affairs. Well, yeah, quiet as it's kept, right? Because it is true. American Christians tend to be outraged by every little damn thing. It's like, the world don't revolve around the United States. I know a lot of these Americans like to think so, and I live here, but I'm well aware as somebody who is cultured and has traveled that the world don't revolve around the United States of America. Plus, France has always been open. Yes, they have. They was like, come as you are. We embrace everybody. First of all, it's just Europeans in general. Europeans are more or less open about sexuality, whereas America has been they're closed off and very uptight when it comes to sex and sexuality. But we embrace violence. We love, mass shootings and death and abuse. We like that because, all the trauma that American people have we've been sitting in. The people be living for that. It said, I saw a video of how the Olsen twins were the object of sexual jokes from Bob Saget. And when? Was it in a comedy special or was it on the show? Because Full House is supposed to be wholesome family entertainment. Shout out to Bob Saget. May he rest in peace. But anyway, child, let's get into this heavy ass topic. So we got to talk about this old Diddy story that came out yesterday. I was like, we got to talk about it on the show. So there was a story that came out that, I don't know if y'all remember, but years ago, there was a story that came out that Kim Porter was writing a memoir, a tell-all memoir, whatever you want to call it, on, her past, her relationship with Diddy, that sort of thing. And child, the tea was that she was going to be spilling was about her abusive on again, off again relationship with the deranged mogul, or defamed, as we should say, deranged and defamed. So yeah, so now, content from the book, because somebody had found from someone who decided to remain anonymous, they gave access to a flash drive that belonged to her, and it contained a 40-page document that had some unsurprising claims about Diddy, considering what we've already learned about him in recent months, thanks to Cassie coming out and spilling all the tea. So she didn't really get to write a whole lot. She wrote 40 pages. but it details a lot of the stuff. So shout out to Reddit Online because they got the exclusive tea on this. So we're going to reference them. So Kim Porter, the late ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs, detailed the alleged abuse she suffered at his hands in a reported never before seen memoir surfacing nearly 6 years after her sudden death. Now, a source who wished to remain anonymous provided the document to RadarOnline.com and said it was found on Porter's long-lost flash drive. It was given to the informant by someone very close to Kim and Diddy and was written in the months leading up to her sudden death. This is what the individual claimed. While we have been unable to independently verify those claims, the 40-page manuscript, which we have reviewed, is filled with explosive anecdotes about the actress and model's time with the rapper born Sean John Combs. In one chapter, Porter wrote about how the jealous rapper's short fuse made her walk on eggshells and recalled one instance where he allegedly sent her to the hospital after brutally beating her with a chair. Porter was 47 years old when she died in her home in LA shortly before midnight on November 15, 2018. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner listed her manner of death as natural and caused as lobar pneumonia, a condition marked by inflammation and infection of the lungs. But unanswered questions surrounding her death have resurfaced as allegations of violent behavior struck up against Diddy, included by another one of his exes, Cassie Ventura, alongside a federal sex trafficking investigation. Because remember, at one point, we were talking about on the show, like when the whole thing with Cassie was coming out, a lot of people said, oh, y'all need to reopen the Kim Porter case because they're not believing that she died from pneumonia. That something sinister had to been going on that we don't know about, and now everybody was side-eyeing Diddy. He may have had something to do with it. And the tea recently was coming out with Keefe D was going around and saying that Diddy had something to do with Tupac's death. So they said a user on social media or even suggested Porter's death may have been more intended to prevent the release of the memoir she never finished, in which our source says she discussed Diddy's alleged involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur. In an interview with AllHipHop.com, he said, "This story is beyond ridiculous and completely false. Neither Biggie nor I have any knowledge of any attack before, during, or after it happened. It is a complete lie to suggest that there was any involvement by Biggie or myself." And word on the curb is some people believe that he had something to do with Biggie death too. Allegedly. I'm just going to say alleged to protect myself. Because, Diddy people like sending out cease and desist. So there have never been any criminal charges, indictments, or convictions against Combs related to the claims. Now, Porter's father told Rolling Stone that he was disgusted by a hotel surveillance video from 2016 obtained by CNN that showed the 54-year-old kicking and dragging Ventura. He also said that it made him wonder whether his daughter suffered similar abuse during their 13-year relationship. What's more, former Bad Boy rapper Mark Curry told the outlet of Porter's relationship with Diddy, saying, "I remember Kim used to go through a lot of stuff. If you lived around them, you got to see the toxic relationship. I think every relationship he had that I experienced around him was like that." Porter described the exchange that led to her hospital visit in a purported memoir, obtained by Radar Online, writing, "We were supposed to go out to dinner, but he was in a foul mood. Sean yelled, 'What the fuck?' I would have to walk on eggshells as I came out of the bathroom, but I found him holding flowers, so I smiled. 'You brought me flowers?' Sean yelled, 'No. So who the fuck are they from?' I was bewildered and told him honestly, I don't know, probably just a fan. He threw the attached card at me. I picked it up to read he slapped me so hard I hit the ground. Sean yelled, 'Who the fuck were you with the other night?' I looked down at the card and was lying next to me, and it read, 'The other night was amazing. We must do it again.'" According to the document, when she tried to explain Combs threw the flowers at her and said, "That's not how this works. You have my child. You don't touch anyone unless I allow it." She wrote, "Diddy picked up the coffee mug and slammed it against the wall. Coffee flew everywhere as he yelled, 'Who the fuck this nigga think he is?' While desperately trying to calm him down, Porter insisted it was just coffee with the producer. It was nothing," she explained. "They met up to discuss maybe me starring in another movie that he wants to produce." Sean exploded even more. "He wants to put the move on my effing family." At the top of his lungs, "My effing family." He flipped the table over, breaking it. It was a heavy table, but Sean is stronger than he looks. Well, I guess when he mad, he Hulk smashes situations. And, a lot of people can find the strength within themselves and when they're in a rage. She said, I pleaded with him, Sean, please. He yelled at me. What? I tried my best to calm him down. He probably didn't know it didn't come up. You're publicly dating someone else. So he screamed at me and it somehow seemed even more intense. So you didn't tell him back off? And then out of nowhere, he hit me with the chair. I don't remember anything after that until I woke up in the hospital room. According to the document, Porter said that when she woke up in the hospital, my arm was in a cast, hanging from a sling. My face hurt. My eyebrow was in immense pain, as was my lip. As I came to, the first face I saw was the man that put me here. Sean asked with concern in his voice, how are you feeling? I responded, stay away from me. Writing in the supposed manuscript, she said Diddy apologized and told her, I don't know what came over me, but she was afraid for her safety because they were in a private hospital room and no one could hear me. I could scream like my life depended on it, but it wouldn't matter. As she lay in the hospital bed, the musician allegedly said, I was just so jealous. You know how I am. I'm sorry, baby. I promise I'll never put hands on you again. I swear. Probably the same shit he said to Cassie and so many other women he's been with. She recalled thinking, I've heard this song one too many times. Porter then wrote that she was concerned Diddy might lie and say she had a car accident, claiming he told her, they'll pity you, that you hit your head. He was going to make me look crazy. They were going to believe him. He was a kingpin. Yet she and Combs spent the next 6 months helping me heal and working his way back into my life and into my bed. She said, I was so damn stupid. And of course, I wasn't cast for either movie. From what I understand, the producer died of pneumonia. Chill. So are y'all implicating that the same thing she died from, the producer died from, and that Diddy may have had something to do with the producer's death as well? That's what it seemed like to me. Or am I bugging? Or am I reaching too far in this whole situation to be coming up with this analysis? Now, they said it was unclear if when the alleged incident occurred, but Porter noted that Combs was publicly dating someone else at the time. So now, was he publicly dating Cassie at the time? Because remember, there were stories that was going on that Cassie, even though, she had her situation, people try to make it like, well, I don't feel bad for her because when Kim Porter was getting her ass beaten and all this other stuff, Cassie would go over there, ha, 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 up on her face, like it was cute or whatever. Meanwhile, then he ended up doing the same thing to her. So because that is allegedly what happened, then Cassie's situation is less of a situation that we should care about. No man should be putting no hands on a woman. No woman need to be putting no hands on no man. And same goes for the same sex relationships. Girl on girl relationship, y'all should be putting paws on each other. And man on man relationship, y'all should be putting paws on each other. And to me, it's just like, with all of this that's being said, I believe every damn word. Because I do remember that she was talking about that she was going to come out with the book, and all these rumors is coming out. So the math is starting to math. Everything is coming together like one of those, savant puzzles in my head. And I'm just starting to see the things for what they are. I believe every damn word was in that manuscript. And I guess at this point, because it was only 40 pages, because I was like, oh, I want to read the whole thing. And then maybe what they could do is add it as part of another book where other people can come out and tell about their encounters with Diddy, and it's all incorporated in one big memoir. And maybe the proceeds could go to Kim Porter and her children in that way or whatever. Because, she has the twins with Diddy, and then she got King Combs, who you see as a baby in this photo that I pulled up from her Instagram. So, like I said, I believe it because she has a 26-year-old son, as I said, Christian Casey Combs, and then she has a 17-year-old twin daughters. I think it's Delilah Starr and Jesse James Combs. And so a lot of people think, well, they believe, according to the report, they believe that this may have occurred between Christian's birth in 1998 and the twins' birth in 2006. And noted that the memoir that Christian was with the nanny at the time and wrote about delivering her twins in the next chapter. Now, the source who gave Radar Online access to the document plans to publish the entire thing under the title Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. So now we know we're going to be getting it. And when we get that book, or when that book comes out, trust and believe, Chris is going to get it. And we're going to dissect that book on this channel and, on the show. So I say all this to say, Were y'all clutching your pearls like I was as I was reading my imaginary pearls when I was reading all the details of what was going on and things he did to her? Like I believe every word. If people gonna sit up and say Kim was lying after we saw that video of Diddy what he did to Cassie, you know what that man is capable of stuff and how he goes into these ratings. Quiet as it's kept. I be wondering why does he always do this with every woman he's been with? Every relationship with a female, they said that this is how he treats them. Kind of made me wonder if he did that to Carisha and if he did it to Jennifer. So if he was out here putting paws on all these women and stuff over the years, it kind of made me think it was overcompensating because you couldn't be the real queen you wanted to be, sir, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, you do it. And I think you do. So, whatever y'all thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. So, they said they show clips of the Bob Saget roast. Well, you know, the roasts were hella problematic, but I did laugh. A lot of crazy. Yes, they are prudish for the most part. There's a couple of us out here who have that European sensibility, me being one of them. But yeah, for the most part, it irritates me how prudish a lot of American people are and how uncultured a lot of American people are. But it also could be because maybe it's because they've been banning books every damn way. How do people know any kind of history when y'all banning books every 5 damn minutes? Even the far right in France had to say traditional value instead of religious and stuff because laws make it illegal to mention faith and religion. Yeah, that's what I said. Like they understand. Well, they understand the rules because it's France, but America they don't know because, like I said, the lack of education. The diddler. Okay. And it's a lot of Americans seem to be trapped in 50. Exactly, which is why when it comes to that Project 2025 thing that we have out here, they've been talking about that they're trying to go back to a whole sensibility of the 1950s. They think that's the world in which we want to live in. And I said, even back in the 50s, the people didn't want to live in that time. So why do y'all think that that's what a lot of people want? He's Hulk smashing them BBCs. Okay. Oh, he definitely was Hulk smashing those. Probably because I bet you that whoever was topping him, there was rage fucking Diddy. Because Diddy give me like, oh, I just be putting paws on women, but when I need to get it in with them dudes, I'm a big old bottom. I love the fact that I got people calling her Jennifer. It's like we don't call her J Lo on this show. We don't call her Jennifer. We call everybody else Jennifer, but she's Jennifer on here. But yeah, he probably was putting it on her. And Guadalupe was, oh hell no, you not. Said Kaylani's in the building. Where have you been? We haven't heard from you in a while. Although I haven't seen you commenting on some of my posts. I mean, a lot of the clip videos and stuff that I've been posting on the show when it's over and I go in and I'm editing. You know what? I was thinking about it and like when we was talking about that, I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but when Armand Wiggins was talking about like the amount of work that goes into doing what we do, I was like thinking about it this morning. I'm like, you know what? It is a lot of work. Like literally after I'm done with the show, I'll probably go in, I'll look back on some of the show, I'll rewatch some stuff. I'm like, you know what? Let me start editing a couple of the clips. I'll go in, I'll start cutting out, okay, this is a good one I need to put up because I know a lot of people don't sit through the 3-hour shows, whatever. And that's fine. I love that we have our loyal following that comes in and chimes in with the show. But for the most part, when I want to gain the followings and the subscribers and all that stuff, speaking of which, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification if you haven't already, please and thank you. And when they come in and they watch the other videos, like the Willem video and all that other stuff, which is gaining traction, I've seen that, and the Detox one about Roxy Andrews and all the other ones. It seems like everybody like the drag race stuff, so that's why I keep doing it. Where was I going with that? Oh, it's like I don't even remember. I done forgot where I was going. Let's move on. So I think I got sidetracked when I read Ron's comment. He was like, wonder if he was abusing his men. That's a good one too. I mean, wasn't the producer that saw him said that he was doing some crazy stuff to him? So it could have been that. I believe that maybe that's his kink or whatever. Not that I'm excusing, but it's like, yeah, you got rage issues. Why do you just be going around beating me? Where'd you learn that from? Did you see your dad? Because you say, from what we know, he never met his father. His father died when he was a baby, or I think, yeah, when he was a baby. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, is the rage issues because you got daddy issues? Where'd you out here? I don't get it. I said Benny Medina probably helps her get away from him. Yeah, you know that old queen. She probably has some shit on him. So anyway, that was a heavy one. So I already know I'm going to have to cut that one up. But let's lighten the mood and let's talk about Ozzy Osbourne and his apology to Britney, which wasn't really an apology, or was it, what was it backhanded? I was going to say, you guys decide. when we get to once I start reading it. So Ozzy Osbourne is apologizing for mocking Britney Spears' dance moves, but oops, he did it again one more time. So now, after Ozzy Osbourne and his family complained about Britney Spears' dance videos during an episode of the Osbournes podcast, the singer issued an apology along with some constructive criticism. So now, in an episode of the Osbournes podcast released Monday, Ozzy Osbourne said, "I'm so sorry for making that comment." However, he probably mumbled every word as he was saying it, so I'm glad y'all wrote it down so we could read it and understand what the hell he was saying. He said, "I'm so sorry for making that comment. However, it would be better if you didn't do the same fucking dance every day." He said, "Change a few movements." Okay, Lorianne Gibson, look at you out here trying to offer some choreography advice. Kelly Osbourne quickly followed her father's comment with, "I was going to say, Britney never stopped dancing. I love your dancing. It makes you so happy, and I'm sorry if we offended you." Ozzy Osbourne added that he is a fan of the artist, but said that her dance moves were repetitive, to which Kelly Osbourne quipped, "No, sometimes she has knives." I could not. Y'all are shady as fuck, but this shit is funny, though. Let's continue. The apology follows Ozzy Osbourne's July 16th comment on the Osbournes podcast, where she said he was fed up with seeing poor old Britney Spears on YouTube every fucking day. Afterward, he called her dance videos very, very sad. His family members agreed. The Oops, I Did It Again star responded in a statement referring to rom-com Serendipity star Kate Beckinsale and praised the actress for standing up to critics online, calling it pretty badass. She continued by sharing, "I hardly ever dance," and responded to Sharon Osbourne, who called her a poor little thing, by writing, "I'm not poor at all." Oh, we definitely know your ass ain't poor, child. We know Britney got the coins. She said, "I know what it's like to be judged." This is what she wrote in a statement. "But I think it's important to help each other and invite each other to places to help our souls grow. What are you going to do to help someone out and bring their dreams to life besides being like me and Kate's haters saying we're too old or don't have appropriate content? Do you think perhaps she might be offended to what they see?" Or by what they see. Britney Spears included by asking the Osbournes family to kindly F off, and Ozzy Osbourne reiterated his apology to Spears on Monday, ending the podcast by saying, "I really do apologize. I love you and I think you're beautiful." And you know what? At the end of the day, Ozzy is a damn cackle. It's like you apologize under the same damn breath. You was out here offering, choreography advice. Like you further still, Sean Bankhead. Or the fine one that be on Drag Race. What's his name? The cute little high yellow one with the bald head. That's fine as hell. That was in that Kamala Harris situation. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all can drop it in the comment. But I will say this. I'm glad they apologized. They said what they said. You stand behind what you mean. But because quiet as it's kept, we all been saying the same damn thing. That Britney do be doing the same 1-2 step. And the same runny raccoon makeup, them ugly ass brown shoes, them Gerber baby panties, and the crop top, twirling in the damn foyer, doing the same move. But then look, she goes to she sticks to the rivers and the lakes that she's used to. If she was to go back and do a tour or a residency or whatever you want to call it, then she'll jump in and she'll do that. She'll learn some new choreography. But in the meantime, in the words of a viral sensation from back in the day who ended up doing adult films, I think they also transitioned. Chris Crocker, leave Britney alone. So I say all that to say, what do y'all think of this tea? I was sitting over here cackling as I was reading, but all jokes aside, it's like, yeah, leave Britney alone. Let Britney do what Britney does. But I want to hear what y'all thoughts on this is. Let me know in the comments down below. I think I read this, but I'll say it again. You said probably abuses everyone he dates. We're talking about Diddy, Benny Medina. Probably, yeah, we did read that one. You said you were saying, oh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me because I was like, yeah, I lose my train. I'm glad somebody paying attention. Oh yeah, editing is a lot of work. It literally is like a full-time job because I was like, okay, yeah, it was the whole thing with Armand Wiggins, but he was talking about like, oh yeah, I just want to do this because it was fun. I didn't want to sit up here and it be like a full-time regular job or whatever. And yeah, it is. It's like going through your footage, and now that I'm getting ads, I was like trying to cut around all of that. If you watch the playback, there are ads in the show now. I don't know if some of y'all noticed. But yeah, when I be going in and I do the playback and I I cut up the videos and all this other stuff to put on the site individually for those, the highlighted moments, the big stories. the amount of work that it does. And it's like, it's not only the editing, it's uploading it to YouTube, uploading it to Instagram and Facebook, uploading it to TikTok, like all of those other places. So that way it's hitting all those beats. And every media person, I would think, does that. So yeah, it is a full-time job, and I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's a lot of work. So, and I believe Sailor Mermaid even said that to me too. Like when we were talking about myself and Nico Aesthetic, he was like, "I don't understand how y'all do it." It's like, yeah, it's a lot of work to be doing all of this stuff that we doing. It's no joke. You got to really have a passion for doing this stuff to be wanting to put in the amount of work that we do. But not to toot our own horns. Enough of our woes, right? That says she does do the same thing, always twirling. The knives are probably the biggest change. I know, and then you know, have people windmilling and defending it, but I'm like, so, but Shakira, I'm like, that's part of Shakira's culture. She's part Lebanese, and you know, I do believe they do knife dancing. Britney, based on her past reputation of being, you know, the lithium and the 5150 and all that other stuff, she shouldn't be having those sharp objects and doing wooden ass choreography, doing the choreography of that chick from Friday the 13th Part 7, the New Blood. Remember her when she was like doing that with the knives? Remember her? She was like one of my favorite characters. Oh wait, she wasn't in Part 7. She was in Part 5. What am I talking about? Friday the 13th Part 5, the one that a lot of people don't like. It was the what do we call that? The fake Jason, where it wasn't even Jason, it was the damn ambulance man that was pretending to be Jason because his son got killed at the mental institution. So by that crazy person, the asshole hillbilly. So there's that. But anyway, Mrs. S.E. said, OMG. Doesn't she get this? Apparently not. She used to twirling. She's been twirling all her life. Come on, girl. Do a twirl. Sorry, not sorry. Exactly. Well, you know, Kelly loves Britney and hates Christina. Well, do they still not like each other? Because I remember that huge beef back in the day. She couldn't stand Christina. But then again, there was a lot of people that didn't like Christina. Pink didn't like Christina. So many other people didn't like Christina. And because Christina was a fucking bitch back in the day. And which is why her career is where it is and it hasn't recovered. K-Fed isn't going to get child support in about a month. He's probably going to have to get a job. You about to lose your job. Yeah, but hopefully he's saving it up, or he's gonna have to really get back in. I hope he gets back into DJing, and he could probably get a residency up in Hawaii or something, because isn't that where he lived? Like you said, Chris Rocker is now Carol Cunningham. I remember at one point, look, it was a lot of. I'm gonna say Chris Cunningham. Remember them? Chris Cunningham is a music video director who directed Madonna's Frozen. But and Aphex Twins Come to Daddy, which is like one of my favorite music videos. But anyway, me going to savant mode. Carol Cunningham, yeah, because I remember at one point they were talking about transitioning. They were identifying as trans and they were transitioning. But I remember they were going back and forth on that. I didn't know if they actually went through it. So apparently, according to you, you saying that's what happened. So I will go along with it. Congratulations, Miss Carol. So, and then I remember at one point, you know, Chris Crocker was putting out music, but some of it was cute. And then they started doing adult cinematography. Crystal and a few of our friends need some Britney rehab to learn to let go of her. I mean, I don't understand. I can't get into the whole Stan thing. It's like, I love y'all, but the whole Stan thing, y'all just be ridiculous with that. You say too old and fat. Because he been keeping on with it. I think he felt once he got with Britney, and yeah, we can say that, yeah, he helped when Britney was going through her stuff, he took care of them kids because it was like, okay, there was child support attached. And I'm sure he loves his sons dearly, whatever the case is. But once he got with Britney, he knew he hit the jackpot. He didn't have to work as hard anymore. Getting one of the biggest pop stars on the planet, and you knocked her up twice and married her. I love Britney. I worry about her though. I did a remix on her song "Do You Want to Come Over" from the Glory album, which is one of my favorite remixes I did this year. Okay, so now, Lord, let's talk about Cardi B because she always mad about it. Girl, when is album coming out? So this time, you know, it seems like every other day we got some Cardi B tea. But this time she's clapping back at people who saying her mansion over in Atlanta is going in foreclosure. So she shut down rumors that she and Offset are trying to unload a $5 million Atlanta mansion amid a secret financial crisis. Now, the 31-year-old WAP rapper who recently slammed Popeyes over a chicken flip. What? Over a chicken. This is what we fighting about on social media. She over here slamming Popeyes. First of all, Popeyes chicken be lit. Y'all biscuits be a little dry, but I do live for y'all chicken, especially the dark meat. But anyway, she said they said it took to X on Monday. Oops, I forgot. We did name Twitter over here. To her Twitter on Monday, they hit back after Icy Scoop News, which I've never heard of, sidebar, claimed that she was facing foreclosure and fighting to make payments on her Atlanta mansion in a since deleted post. She wrote, LMAOOO, you bum bitches wish. Me and Offset bought that house in 2019 for $5 million. Now it's worth $7 million. Check the Atlanta market, Cardi B wrote, referencing her rapper husband. She added, and no, we are not selling it. Well, she said we not selling it because they don't use Bure and all that other stuff. Cardi still be trying to play like she from the damn hood. She said, and no, we not selling it. And if I ever sold it, I would sell my house. I would sell my part to Offset since he loves Atlanta. Throwing salt on my phone, hating bad. Or sorry, throwing salt on my home, hating bad. Icy Scoop News original tweet read, Cardi B's secret struggle. She allegedly trying to sell one of her homes, but is deeply upside down on it. Facing foreclosure, the pressure is mounting as she fights to make the payments. The stakes have never been higher. The Grammy winner and Offset purchased the $5.8 million mansion in Sandy Springs, a suburb in Atlanta, in December of 2019. The home boasts 22,000 square feet with 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, and 4.5 baths. So you got 7 bathrooms and 4 half baths. Say that 10 times fast. At the couple's disposal. The entire property sits on 5.84 wooded acres, according to Realtor.com. Now, the clapback comes after Cardi opened up about her finances and complex in March, addressing her rumored $80 million net worth. She said, I feel like I actually passed almost doing $80 million. She admitted, I make a lot of money. I make a lot of money. In August, Cardi and Offset were targeted in a swatting hoax at the Atlanta home that you see up in the picture. So, the crazy thing about this is, if she's worth more than $80 million, then she is not hurting, especially if her house in Atlanta is worth $7 million. And the funny thing about it is, Atlanta is pretty inexpensive. Like, you can find really big houses out there for cheap. You don't really have to, and that's the great thing about, like, you see this big old house, all that property. Let me see if I can get a full, because I did put that picture up in here. So you get like a full look of the mansion. That's a huge place. What would you need with all of that space? It's just her, him, and the 2 kids, unless you got other people living with her. But for the most part, that's a pretty big house, and you do get a lot of property when you're out in Atlanta and stuff. So she says that she's not hurting right now. Her money is, there's no issue, whatever the case is, in regards of like the property and all that stuff. I think I also have the tweet that she put out as well. So yeah, that's the response to the Icy Scoop News situation that she's responding to. But like I said, Cardi girl, stop responding to every little thing that somebody says about you on social media. It is unnecessary for you to always be jumping on social media and respond to every little thing to try to debunk the naysayers. I get it that you're a Libra and you get emotional and you lead with emotion and you have to just like fight everybody. Like, you ain't Sophia from The Color Purple all your life. You don't have to fight. Like, you don't need to just constantly always have to bring up and windmill everybody that comes at you in a situation. But if somebody went around and asked you, your house of foreclosure, you'd be like, no, they out here lying. But any little thing, it just seems like it gets under her skin and it bothers her. I just be out here laughing at y'all like, child, get off my line with this. Like, if you ain't seen me have to sell my shit by now, why would you believe this lie? So, Cardi dear, I need you to focus on this new album. Focus on all the things you need to focus on. And y'all do have this big house, but y'all supposed to be broken up, but we already know that you're not broken up because y'all always spotted together and all this other stuff. So anyway, I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, drop it down in the comments below. And speaking of comments, we're going to get to a couple of them. I'm screaming. He said K-Fed needs Ozempic. I heard somebody said they tried Ozempic and it made him constipated. A celebrity said that. And so I think Britney is waiting for the child support to run out for her to go back to music. Probably. And then they're talking about the kids are trying to make develop some type of relationship with her. And so I think she won't release the album because I think she thought Nicki was going to come back. She thought Nicki was going to get canceled by the industry. She didn't think Nicki fan base is bigger than the music industry. Nicki doesn't need the industry or whatever. Nicki has solidified herself. She's got her Quan fan base. She could sell out arenas for the rest of her life, and she'll be good. Cardi is the one who really has to prove herself because to be honest, the Lottos, the Ice Spices, all of the stuff. Nicki is here. Nicki's here. Cardi is here, and the rest of the girls is here. So Nicki by herself, she ain't got to worry about all these other broads. And I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan, but I will give credence when need be. So Nicki's over here in a class by herself. Cardi is, the next generation of passing of Nicki passing the torch down to her. And now the girls like the Ice Spices, the Lottos, the JTs, all of them are following her and trying to come for what she has. Because y'all not coming for what Nicki has. She's already solidified herself in the game long enough that y'all can't touch what she's doing in regards of status and that sort of thing. So yeah, invasion of privacy could beat whatever it is that it could beat by an album by itself. But at this point, says you on borrowed time. Like you have to release a record because these girls are coming for you. They're not coming for Nicki. They're coming for Cardi B. So Cardi has to release this record to prove her status in this game. It's like, yeah, now that Invasion of Privacy did what it did and it solidified itself in music and sales and Grammys and all that other stuff, what's the next chapter? The next chapter is you trying to prove that you have staying power beyond all the accolades and the success you have from that album. So that's what she has to do. So I don't see why she even thinking about not releasing an album because of Nicki Minaj. I'm like, you scared of her? Like, if you're scared to like put out music or whatever, then you shouldn't even be coming up in here. Like, to me, I feel like she treated music as a hobby and it wasn't nothing she took serious anyway. Probably, I think that's probably why she stopped, but she needs to get back into shape if she wants to tour again and do shows. Are you talking about Cardi B? Yeah, because she was a little lackluster when she got up on that stage with when I worked the Megan Thee Stallion show. I was like, yeah, it was great. Like the hype, and everybody was hyped when she came out to perform with Megan Thee Stallion when I worked the show. But I'm sitting there looking at her, and you know what? It's no shade, but Ice Spice is correct. Cardi, you are shaped like an ant. I can't. It's like, look, she came out with. I was like, you know what? That is accurate because I seen the body up close. She is shaped like an ant. I told you when I worked on Megan Thee Stallion concert, I was working on the floor, so I got to see everything up close. And she had on that leather outfit. So it was like, so what you saying that she definitely needs to get back into shape, she does. And while it was great to have New York representation like Cardi B come out and perform those songs that she has with Megan, to me it was like, yeah, you really was not bringing the energy. It did feel like you were just kind of standing around on the stage like you were just a hype chick, like you was a hype person. You know how you get the hype people at the rap concert and they just be up there just like they be doing that to the song while it's playing in the background. Full blast. That's what she was giving with that performance. Oh, you talking about Britney? Oh, okay. So yeah, well, Britney definitely going to have to get into shape because if you're doing if you're a pop act and you're going to be on tour and you're the headliner and you got to get up there and dance and stuff, she definitely has to. She definitely has to do the thing, and she definitely has to get up there and be in tip top shape. So yeah, that's quite, especially because what people don't realize, like when you're a singer, you're a performer, you're an athlete, you're doing Olympic type shit. Like you up there for like 2 hours plus, depending on how many songs you put in your catalog, and you have to be up there performing for like it's like running a marathon for 2 hours. Cardi B spends most of her time busy on surgeons' tables, but none of my business. You know what? But Ice Spice did say that she be changing her face so many damn times. She talk about she hate being who she is. She be changing her face up. And you said, like Frozen said, let it go. Okay, I think the torch skipped Cardi. They said the director of Project 2025 is stepping down. Well, yeah, because they're trying to look. Trump and them is trying to revamp this thing to the point where they're trying to disassociate themselves from the situation. They're trying to find any little thing they can to win. It's too little, too late. At this point, these pissed off women, you pissed off single women, you pissed off black people, a lot of them, even though there's some that's still trying to come up with excuses to throw shade at Kamala. These pissed off a lot of people, and they're floundering right now, and they're trying to do whatever they can to win this situation. But trust and believe, if Trump gets into office, I don't care if, you know, Jesus Christ stepped down and he was a part of Project 2025. They still gonna push it if Trump gets in office. I said, I don't know how Cardi's career is still going with her only doing one album. Is she ever going to do another one? Is this another Normani? So she said this year, especially when I talked about it the other day, when I was talking about Cardi and the fan, the Barb, who we showed the video. I had to mute it because it was playing music. Where he was being rude and nasty to her, went up to her wax figure, pretended to spit on it, and that sort of thing. And she made a homophobic slur apparently on social media responding to the video, and how she came at Ice Spice because apparently on Ice Spice's new album, Ice Spice has a new single where she's dissing, or a new song where she's dissing Cardi B. And Cardi did say on Twitter, because I read that as well, that, oh, well, I'm going to show you bitches on my new album when y'all trying to come. You can't take me in money. You can't take me in sales. You can't take me in this and all this other stuff. So Cardi basically hinted, even though she did say not too long ago that she wasn't dropping the album because I guess she was getting mad at the fans. So I said, girl, stay on social media. She's getting mad at the fans that kept harassing about this. Well, for that, I'm not releasing the record. I'm like, you got to say so. You're part of a label. The label's gonna be like, okay, we putting this shit out, and you're gonna do whatever, unless you got full control, and I doubt that. So, they said something or another that. So I do believe. So according to her, because she got mad over the people with these diss tracks, JT coming for her, Ice Spice coming for her. So now she's out here saying that I'm releasing a record. So according to her, it's coming out this year. She said that before, then she took it back. Now she's saying it again because of the whole rap beef situation. But yeah, she better hope it don't flop like Normani's album. It's a lot of people hate the gym because the people that go there are judgmental. They want a few hours where the members aren't allowed to go, so the new people come. I don't know. I don't get into. Well, I guess I've been going for a long time. Maybe I'm not in that demographic. So I go to the gym. I don't be giving a fuck what people be thinking. I be in there in my little shorts and my muscle shirt, and I be doing my deadlifts and my squats and running on the treadmill and stuff. I don't be paying them people no mind. But although I had to cuss one person out because I'm sitting using the machine and he trying to rush me. I'm like, there's other machines in here. You better go use that. It was another queen. I said, don't play with me. But other than that, when I'm in the zone, do not mess with me. But I guess look, the reality is gyms are intimidating. So I totally get it. They said watch it alone. Some say it's male social hour and use. Or a lot of times I'll go. I was gonna say I'll go on off hours, but that's hard because when I've been going to the gym lately, it's always been relatively busy. But I go early in the morning. I'll get up at I'll be out of the house at 8 o'clock or something or another. Get there 9:30. Or a lot of times I'll go before I go to work. So I'm gonna say come to England or go anywhere in the continent of Europe if the clown Trump win. Yeah, I know a lot of people saying that, but the way that everybody's excited now, Kamala Harris has definitely got a lot of people pumped, a lot of people excited, and it all boils down to her VP nomination. So I already said I would like for her to pick Josh Shapiro. Hopefully she does that. So the thing is, she doesn't want to leave her man. I'm saying that she's afraid of Quavo going to cheat on her. Well, no, you mean Offset. Grindr said it best. If a man going to cheat, that's what I said. It's like, girl, you that insecure. Like Offset done showed you who he is many a times. So you thinking that you throwing a put it just with all this money and all this other stuff, it just shows how deeply insecure she is. And I like Cardi, but it's like, girl, it don't matter how much surgery you get, how many times you change up your look to excite that man. If Offset gonna slide his dingaling up in another piece of coon, poom, then not coon, but poom, tang, then he's gonna do it. But anyway, let's move on and let's get into some Housewives news. So we got two stories. We got this one and we got the Phaedra one. So let's get to the Housewives of New Jersey, which I finally got around to watching. So as y'all know, it's been a tough season for the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Well, a tough few seasons. Amid cast shakeups in other franchises, it seems like oh my god, did I close this? Wait, hold on. It seems like Andy Cohen and the powers that be at Bravo are finally taking a hint and are rebooting the Garden State season. Hold on a second, because I gotta pull up the photo, because I was like, I had it. I must have closed it while I was getting to the show. So please hold. You know what? Everything is all about the timing. Okay, so there we are. So now it says, after weeks of speculation, Bravo honcho Andy Cohen confirmed that The Real Housewives of New Jersey is getting a reboot. Saying, have you heard that we're going to do big changes to the show? This is what Cohen 56 told an Andy Cohen live Sirius XM radio show caller on Monday, who complained about the current season storylines. He said, we are rebooting the show. He assured the disgruntled fan, reiterating, we're going to reboot it. We're going to do something different. I guess, with this being Andy's baby, and him having that's the only income that he's actually getting outside of, because once he became talent, he can't EP a lot of the shows anymore. But he has an EP because he developed the Housewives and stuff. That's the only thing he's making a coin from. So he wholeheartedly depends on these shows, and he's got to keep that income coming in outside of Watch What Happens Live and on his other endeavors. So he's gonna do what he can to keep this franchise fresh. Now, interrupting a woman, who continued complaining. Cohen said, we're going to see what we do. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe just all fresh faces. The current cast consists of OGs, Teresa Giudice, her estranged sister-in-law, Melissa Gorga, Jennifer Aiden, Margaret Josephs, Dolores Catania, Danielle Cabral, and Rachel Fuda. Now, in addition to friends Jackie Cole Goldschneider and Jen Fessler. Saying this isn't the first time fan has suggested Cohen bring new faces in and get rid of all the negativity. I agree, he told the caller last week, who argued that the show needs a rebrand. We're going to figure something out, he promised the fan. We are all on the same page about that. Now, Page Six recently caught up with Gorga, who insisted she's on board with the shakeup. Listen, I'm excited for what's to come. I think we are due for some type of change, she told us last week. Well, if that change comes with a lot of y'all getting the pink slip, I don't know if you'd be too excited for that. She said, I don't know what kind of change, but I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see what's next and where the show goes from here. Now, at the time, Gorga admitted she hadn't heard anything about what the network plans to do with the series, explaining, my guess is as good as yours. Now, Page Six confirmed last month that showrunners had informed the ladies that a traditional reunion wasn't happening this season due to several feuds among the divisive cast, which we already talked about on the show, that what's supposed to happen is that the girls are going to end up, they filmed at some steakhouse in New Jersey. They had Teresa and the people that she's cool with in one room. They had all the people that Melissa's cool with in another room. And they basically did a watch party where I guess they were reacting to clips throughout the season, and they gave their side of the story. To me, that just feels weird, because it's sort of like, if you want to react to things that happen, normally what it is you confront Teresa on some of the stuff she says. She'll try to, talk around it. She'll do like this typical Donald Trump tap dance and be like, "Oh, that's not what I didn't say that. I meant this." And then, she'll try to backpedal and all the other stuff with things. And then, you'll get Melissa or not Dolores, because Dolores is always, Switzerland. But you'll get Margaret will come out and be like, "No, you're a liar. This is what you said," and blah, 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 so on and so forth. And then we'll never we'll never come to a conclusion. We'll never have a solution. And it's just them going back and forth, and Andy getting frustrated per every damn reunion that he has with these annoying ass women over in the Garden State. Because yeah, y'all do get annoying, especially Jen Aiden. How her head is so far up Teresa ass, she probably can recite and mumble namaste bitches in her booty hole. So I do agree that the show definitely needs an overhaul. So they said that Gorga was joined by Josephs, Fuda, Cabral, and Fessler, while Giudice watched with Aiden and Goldschneider. And then they had Dolores basically hop through both the rooms. And I actually watched the show. So now when it comes to that, saying like the regular reunions, because I want to finish up on that. When they had the regular reunions, that's what they would do. But now it's sort of like they have to watch back on the clips. And so now Margaret and all of them in Melissa Gorga's room will sit and say their piece without hearing what Teresa's saying, unless a producer off camera saying, well, according to her, she said this, and now you can rebuttal. That, and then you're gonna leave it up to the fans who've been watching and irritated by the storylines this season to fill in the blanks. Like, I'm really curious to see how they're gonna work all this out because I think that special airs this Sunday. Or this week, well, yeah, this Sunday when it was it Monday when the show airs. I think it's every Sunday. I can't remember. I watch it on Peacock, so I don't know when exactly the Housewives airs. But look, like I said, changes should have been made to the franchise ages ago. But better late than never. But it's crazy to how it had to get to this point for Andy to want to make changes. And I will say this from the episodes I've seen so far, because I only watched the first three. It does feel a little they managed to make it work to some extent. Teresa, basically called John Fuda, the biggest drug dealer in Paramus or whatever that she said. Then apparently John and Louis was supposed to meet up somewhere and he wanted to, well, I guess Louis wanted to wrap things up or break bread and didn't want to have it in front of everybody. But John was like, no, if you're going to have it, you're going to have it at this event. And he's like, I don't want to talk to people. That you had Dolores, the Irish man, and she's dating, who's still married to his wife, but messing with her, jumped in the conversation. Them two started going at it. And it was just like, what is going on? So it's just an ongoing mess. One of the things I do love about the Housewives of New Jersey, the male dynamic, like when Joe Gorga and all the men get together and they're having Frank and all of them, they're having a good time, they're drinking, whatever. And I know the doctor that's married to Jen, I know he feels bad because it's like he's being left out because Jen and her damn out of her loyalty to Teresa. So when they want him to come over and be a part of the stuff, he's got to put up this united front with his wife because in the past, he would always just go off and do his own thing and then Jen be left to fend for herself. But it's like, sis, if you're the one that made the bed and you was the one being messy, you gonna lie in that shit. But now, because I'm married to you, I'm guilty by association and I can't hang out with the fellas because you don't get along with the women that these fellas are married to. Guys are on a whole different plane. That's why I'm so glad I'm not a straight person. Because if I had to deal with all of this tangled web of drama, I'd have to find the nearest cliff and jump off it. It's just too much drama. It's too much mess. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good grist for the mill and it's good for TV, but I'd have a migraine dealing with these women and stuff out there. And Teresa, lay off the fillers. What is up with her lips? I got so distracted. Thought I was looking at a baboon's ass the whole damn time with all that silicone she done pumped up in her lips. She looked a mess. And then was trying to come for John Fuda. He done called, because she out here spreading rumors that apparently, his ex-wife, who was in jail, by the way, and the son basically don't want nothing to do with her. Like, he literally had Rachel Fuda as his sign the paperwork for her to be his official mother because his other mother a piece of shit. So she needed her 15 minutes and she decided to spread rumors that John Fuda like double-sided dildos and all kinds of other stuff. Child, it's a whole mess over there. So I don't know what they plan on doing. I do feel like y'all need to demote some of these OGs like Teresa because she ain't really bringing nothing to the show. Quiet as it's kept, nobody cares about your kids going to college. That's a boring storyline. And whatever, if you don't want to really address a lot of the drama that's going on between you and Louis and his financials and all that other stuff, then we don't need to be watching the show. Or you want to dodge around things and basically called her and then John called her a criminal. She was like, no, that was my ex-husband, but bitch, you went to jail too. What are you talking about? So guilty by association. And to me, I felt like the only ones that I felt that was bringing it, like, I like Melissa. Melissa could be a friend of or whatever. Y'all need to demote her and Teresa. Jen Aiden irritates me because she has no storyline outside of just being Teresa's ride or die. Margaret's the only one that really come up in there and just be bringing it in regards to the drama and the craziness. Dolores is a bore. She could go. I do like Danielle Cabral and Rachel Fuda. I say wrap the show around them. They're the youngest ones. Do it. Give it a similar situation to what y'all doing over there with Atlanta. You give the new, some of the new girls have already solidified themselves. Portia Williams' situation. Danielle Cabral and Rachel Fuda are the younger girls on the show. Surrounded around them. You can have some of the other girls up in there. Get rid of Jackie. She is a waste. Jen Fessler, I kind of like her, but the whole flip-flopping thing that she's been doing lately with you supposed to be Margaret's friend, but then you running over there with Teresa. I can't trust people like that. And then when Teresa asks you a question because you had a couple of drinks up in, you sing like a damn canary. I'm like, bitch, this woman can't hold water. Once you put some liquor to her lips. So I'll say all this to say, I'm gonna definitely finish watching the season, because like I said, I want to wait to the end of the season to start binging it and then kind of get into the show or whatever the case was. I don't like doing a whole week to week when it comes to reality TV. I like to binge it so that way I can just be in the moment and get caught up in the drama. So by the time the finale airs, then I'm good and ready and I know everything that's going on and I can sit up in here and just cuss out my television with all the drama. And all the backpedaling and the lies that a lot of these women be up in there saying that they didn't say it when they said it. We heard it and the camera caught it. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all really think it's time for Andy Cohen to rejudge this entire Real Housewives of New Jersey franchise, or should the entire franchises be burned at the stake? Because I feel like, look, the Housewives is a little long in the tooth, and it might be time to just wrap it on up. So let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so we have comments. Speaking of which, they said Madonna is back on the top Spotify 100 again. Yeah, she's always gonna be out there, with this music. So I saw 3 versions of Like a Prayer. I have been streaming a lot since Deadpool and Wolverine came out. I'm gonna see it soon with my sisters and my niece. Well, yeah, you'll have a great time with it, even though there's a lot of plot holes and stuff. And the Cassandra Nova storyline was pretty weak, in my opinion. It is a fun movie. New Jersey is just too close to New York, and I think it makes the franchise stale. Like I told you before, Honolulu or Houston will be a good alternative in different areas we haven't seen before. Yeah, and a lot. Look, according to Amanda Lepore, she was like, she's a Jersey girl, but she said I moved to New York because Jersey is not the place where like people like her can thrive. They like all those, boring, uppity straight folk. Those are the ones who stay up in Jersey. Anybody like how quiet is I ain't even going to Jersey. I'd rather stay and overpay for a place to stay in New York than go to some damn Jersey. I know a lot of people try to move there for cheaper rent and stuff, but these days the rents is going up, so it don't even matter. Detroit or Baltimore would be good options too if it want another. Look, if anything would be better than what Carlos King trying to be doing over there with them Huntsville shows or them what's it called? Um, all I know is it's Huntsville, whatever the case was. Well, his shows, because I know he trying to duplicate the Housewives stuff when he worked over at Atlanta. But anybody watching them shows that he got, I do watch his podcast though. Is Gen Z fans of the Housewives? I guess it depends. On Love and Marriage, that's what it was. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. Those Love and Marriage franchises. Is Gen Z fans of Housewives? That's a good question. I mean, I know they probably didn't necessarily grow up on it as much like millennials have. Like, there's a lot of millennials that are, and maybe some later in life Gen Zers, like earlier, like early 30s. I could see some of them would be a fan of the Housewives based off of if they were kids growing up and their parents was watching it. We're fans of Nene, Portia, and Phaedra. We all hate. Oh, y'all be hating on Kenya. I like Kenya more head care. Well, some of the stuff she be doing irritates me, but for the most part, I do like Kenya. Gen Z is more attached to baddies. That is true because I know I have some Gen Z friends who love Zeus Network that watch baddies and all that other mess. I'm like, I can't get into that mess. I try to get into it. It's like, I just think probably because I grew up in the era of Flavor of Love and all that other stuff. So it's just like when y'all be bringing out these new type of reality shows, I feel like I've outgrown it. Andy, you need Nene. Swallow your pride. Absolutely. I've been saying this. Bring Nene back to the show. He don't want to do it. I mean, it's cute or whatever. You got Phaedra coming back to the show, but we'll have to see if Phaedra brings it. It was that I didn't grow up with it, but I watched Atlanta since I was like 12. Yeah, it was like people if you in the household and all the stuff, a lot of them watch that. But speaking of Phaedra Parks, let's get to this next topic, which apparently word on the street is she done quit Married to Medicine and left the cast trip early after there was some drama that they were trying to ensue between her and Apollo, not his wife. The one he just got arrested for DV. I don't know if y'all heard that story, but there was a story that came out the other day that Apollo got arrested for DV of his wife, Shireen Al-Mufti. I don't know how you say her name, but say her name, say her name. But anyway, I came across this over on the Neighborhood Talk, but shout out to Reality Blurb, I had the full story. So we're going to reference them in this story. So the news broke recently that Phaedra is officially returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. However, many wondered how that would work since she's also a cast member on Married to Medicine, which is currently filming. Okay, Reality Blur, which I was watching the show because that was one of my concerns when I talked about it yesterday. But I'm sure that's probably like a genuine concern for everybody else that watches The Housewives and all the Bravo shows. Now it's being said that Phaedra quit the show because one of her Married to Med co-stars invited Apollo Nida and his wife Shireen Al-Mufti on the cast trip. Who's it, Heavenly? I believe it. Because that sounds like some shady shit Heavenly wide-mouth ass would do for some attention and a storyline. Now, as fans of Rubber will recall, Phaedra and Apollo were married from 2009 until 2017. They have 2 children, and he had even appeared on the reunion for Married to Medicine last season after not showing up at his son's film birthday party, which was weird because I was like, I thought they was in a good place because Apollo showed up on the reunion to Married to Medicine, unless there was a conversation that was had, oh, y'all be on y'all best behavior, because we watched it and it was nothing that went down, so I didn't think there would be some drama. So it says Apollo has since remarried and he's also had more legal troubles in recent years. The Twitter account called Mad Beefs took to the platform recently to report on what allegedly happened on the cast trip. According to them, and like I said before I got to this line, Dr. Heavenly Kimes, or Keems, how the fuck you say her name? Just say the Heavenly, invited Apollo and his wife Shireen on the trip. Didn't I say her messy ass was part of this? However, Phaedra got into an argument while on the trip, and she not only left early, but she also departed the series because of the drama. You can see their post below. So we do have that post, and, for context, we'll share it, and then we'll leave it up. I told you, Heavenly got a wide-ass mouth. She is a dentist, by the way. So also, the neighborhood talk went into a bit more detail about the argument Phaedra got into while on the trip. According to them, Apollo and his wife were invited on the trip to confront her. Things got heated between her and Phaedra, and it seems the peach holder came out on the losing end of the argument. So let's go over there again, since we had a little brief trip with Heavenly and them. Let's read what they had wrote over there to the neighbors. They said, neighbors, earlier today, news broke that Phaedra Parks will finally be returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta for season 16 after being booted from the show after season 9. Many fans couldn't help but wonder what that meant for Phaedra's role on the other Bravo show she's currently on, Married to Medicine. Well, let's just say this past season that just finished filming will be her last. According to my source, someone brought Phaedra's ex-husband Apollo and his new wife Shireen Al-Mufti to the show, and things quickly went left. Shireen apparently went off on Phaedra and read her down to the point Faye went off on production and threw up the deuces, as in she quit. I was told she finished out her obligations with the network / M2M producers as far as the green screen interviews to successfully make the transition back over to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Because I heard that when you do these shows, you do multiple seasons. So I think she had probably a 2-season contract with Married to Medicine. Mad Beast is reporting that Dr. Heavenly is the one who invited Apollo and his wife to the show, but we can't confirm that. Yeah, exactly. You can't confirm it, but I don't know. I'll say allegedly, but I believe in my heart of hearts, this is some messiness that Heavenly would pull off. Remember how she was with Quad and all of them over the years. This sounds like something Heavenly would do. Who knows? Funky Downey was good friends with Heavenly, so I'm sure he'll probably look into this. He's probably seeing this story as he's researching it for his show tonight, and more than likely he'll probably get the exclusive tea and probably ask her and find out if this is the truth. But just let it be known that this is the rumors that's floating around that Heavenly was the one that had something to do with it. And since he's good friends with her, he can ask her and confirm or deny that it was her. And we'll find out if it was her when the new season of Married to Medicine comes on, whenever it comes on. Probably at the end of the year or the fourth quarter, we should say, of 2024. So they said the account also highlights a questionable reply from Toya Bush on Phaedra's announcement saying that she'd be returning to Roa. The comment reads, "Congrats, pray you're happy." Toya's phrasing phrasing, sorry, makes it sound like Phaedra did indeed quit filming Married to Medicine in favor of Roa. Of course, it should be pointed out that these shows use two different production companies despite airing on the same network. Or this could be a way for them to be like, you know what, we need to come up with an angle to get her out of the Married to Medicine thing that we could transition her over to the Housewives. Because quiet as it's kept, even though it's called reality TV, a lot of this reality TV ain't reality. So they come up with a lot of these little storylines or whatever, and then they have the cast a reality star. It's not scripted. That's why I don't understand why people say it's scripted. They'll come up with a topic or an idea or a meetup spot or a thing, a log line, and y'all got to fill in the blanks. It's improvised television. That's what I refer to reality TV as. So I should say that none of this has officially been confirmed that has gone down, but this is what Reality Blurb is posting. This is what Neighborhood Talk is saying, and Mad Beefs. So we'll say that this is, I see Like a Prayer is trending too. And Teresa. So they must be talking about Teresa Giudice. So anyway, I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all buying any of this that's going on in here regarding the story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Okay, so we have a comment. It said, I get the lawsuit pissed them off, but you don't have to be friends. Exactly, it's business. I said at the end of the day, it's not show friends, it's show business. And if you need, if you looking to save your show, and Nene is that girl that can pretty much get the eyes back on the show, and she's going to bring the drama and all that other stuff, then you need to bring her back. Otherwise, if y'all can't make this show work with Portia and her and these group of people and bringing Phaedra back, then Atlanta, y'all had a good run along with these other shows. Because I say, like, look, everything that has a beginning has an end. Not everything is meant to last. I'm still surprised that Basketball Wives is still. I'm like, who's still watching that? Besides my mother. I do know, like, she watches the house. Because look, here's the thing: when you have your parents on a lot of your streaming services, and you share streaming services and stuff with them, like your Hulu, your Max, your Prime Video, and all that other stuff, you know what the people be watching. I be taking a gander, and it's just like, I know she watches Basketball Wives. So it said Nene coming back would bring a guaranteed 10% increase. Yeah, 10%. That's a good enough number, I guess. But I just feel like, I feel okay. So you bring Nene back and you give her a good enough amount of money. It's like the Robert Downey Jr. situation where you're trying to save the house that person helped build. And Robert Downey Jr. definitely did help build the MCU by being the first one out the gate with Iron Man. Now you got to look at it from this standpoint, where it's like, how do we build back up the housewives? And you could bring Nene back, and you could back up the Brinks and give her a good enough amount of money. But to me, it'll be at a point of, oh, so we're just going to take a gander and see how well she does in the show. If we're going to give her like maybe 3 episodes, if she don't bring it up, if she don't bring it in the throughout this season, then people are going to bail, and then it's going to look like a risk that they shouldn't have taken. So whatever decision they want to make. They said she was the host of the Baddies reunion, and she had people subscribing to Zeus. And I did hear something that Nene was supposed to have a talk show over at Zeus, but I don't know what happened with that. Now she's over here doing some narration about broken up relationships or whatever on one of the networks, and I'm like, who's watching that? Like, I definitely feel like Nene should get into hosting and doing that type of thing, and get into working on something with Lemmy over at Zeus, since Andy ain't fucking with her. That's where her business should be kind of getting into, like transition, get into media spaces, do a podcast where it's talking about entertainment news and gossip, and get a co-host, because she gonna definitely need one. I can't see her doing it by herself. If she did like a intimate show similar to mine, if she was doing that and she knows celebrities and she can give her opinion on things and throw a little relationship stuff up in there, she'd definitely get a lot of people to watch and get it up on Spotify. You can hire some people that could do all that work for you. Exactly. You said Nene is exactly the RDJ of Bravo. Okay, so we have two more topics left and we are done with today's show. So the first one, let's get into this drag race tea. So let's talk about Nicki Doll. Apparently, she's threatening to sue somebody over some nasty stuff they said about her and a bunch of the queens that were performing during the Olympics. So shout out to Nicki Doll. I told y'all before, I was so bored with that finale of Drag Race France. I mean, congratulations to Le Philippe for winning. But overall, that was just 90 minutes too long with that reunion. So RuPaul's Drag Race star, excuse me, Nicki Doll, who was one of the three French drag queens to carry the Olympic torch, has threatened to sue former GB News host Lawrence Fox over a recent tweet describing drag queens as devious little pedos and child effers. Nicki Doll, whose name out of drag is Carl Sanchez, took part of, I did not realize she had a Latin name. Or maybe she is of Latin descent, but was born in France and just speaks French. You know, they even have Asian people that speak French. Took part in the historic relay along with Minima Geste and Miss Martini. The trio were among more than 10,000 Olympic torch bearers who passed through 400 towns and cities ahead of the Games, which began on Friday, the 26th of July. The season 12 drag race star also featured in the opening ceremony in a segment called Festivity, which was set around the banquet table and included several drag queens. The tableau has been the focus of continued controversy, with people complaining that it mocks Christ's Last Supper. Queer artistic director Thomas Jolly has firmly denied this is the case. Nicki also performed her new single, I Had a Dream, during the ceremony. I think she also performed that song, if I'm not mistaken, during the Drag Race finale. So they also said earlier this year, former Lewis star Fox, who was successfully sued, for libel by RuPaul's Drag Race star Crystal and former Stonewall trustee Simon Blake, following an exchange on Twitter. During the argument sparked by Fox's criticism of supermarket chain Sainsbury's after a Black History Month celebration post, the Reclaim Party founder called the two men pedophiles, as well as Coronation Street star Nicola Thorpe, I should say. The subsequent ruling issued on Thursday, which would be April 25th, ordered him to pay Blake and Drag Race star Crystal, whose real name is Colin Seymour, £90,000 each. Now the Reclaim Party founder faces another legal action. I guess he like being sued from Nicki Doll for similar reasons. Now, in a post on Twitter, Nicki Doll responded to Fox's comment on the Olympics opening ceremony, in which he wrote, "No point in getting wound up when the child effers want to wind you up. Just laugh at the deviant little pedos." In response, the host of Drag Race France threatened, "I'm going to show you that you don't get to write things like that about queer people for fun and the misinformation of it and get away with it. See you in court again at LOXXA Fox." Now, last year, a lawyer told Pink News that people who call others groomer, pedophile, or any other anti-LGBTQ plus slurs online could be in serious danger of being sued. After being awarded £90,000, which is $115,000, I should say, $500 in damages, Crystal, who said the money would go to charity, told Good Morning Britain the impact of Fox's comments had on her, saying pedophilia is one of the oldest homophobic tropes there is, and it's a very sticky and serious accusation that can linger on someone's reputation. It was really a fun spectrum of hate coming my way, and I had no idea what the implications were going to be for my career, for my safety, she said, adding that since then she's faced threats at events and had hundreds of messages on Twitter calling her a nonce. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's a homophobic slur. NONCE. I'm probably saying it wrong too. Now, in court in April, Miss Justice Collins Rice described Fox's words as gross, groundless, and indefensible. So, look, if he has no problem being sued for being a nuisance and being a nasty a-hole, then Nicki, girl, I say take his ass to court, because I didn't even know that there was a law that was passed that if you say something derogatory and you use derogatory words towards someone, that you could be liable for being sued. So if Nicki Doll, girl, I say sue his ass. Maybe he won't learn his lesson, but he must like giving out money or throwing away money. Because you can't just go out here and be calling people child effers and pedos and all kinds of other things and thinking that you're gonna get away with that. That is an old trope. It's an old tired trope. And quiet as it's kept, we ain't the ones that's out here diddling with your damn children. It's these heterosexuals and these damn family members that be real close to your kids that y'all should be worrying about, not us. Because quiet as it's kept, a lot of us homosexuals don't even like kids, let alone your fucking kids. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever y'all think about this whole thing, and I say, Nicki, clean his ass out. So let me know what you guys think of this story down below. Onyx says she would never, she should sue her. Say that 10 times fast. She should sue her. It will teach the roaches of Fox News to watch what they say about us. Exactly. I said, we should do that in America too. Like when people come out here and say all this derogatory stuff, I don't believe in that. When they go low, we go high. I'm petty as hell. So you say some crazy ish about me, we go see you in court, sir or ma'am. Off topic, why is Nina Benina from Nina Banana Nina Fofina live playing Roblox with her fans on this fine Tuesday? I didn't know she does. She did that. Maybe I didn't know that and I forgot. I don't know. I like Nina Bonina Brown. Some people be hating on her. I love her commentary when it comes to the girls of Drag Race. It is a cackle. Okay, so now let's get to our final topic, which is we got some details on Morphine's status of, being, with that horrible car crash that she was in, the night after the second night of DragCon, I believe. It was like 3-something in the morning on a Sunday when she got into a bad accident. So RuPaul's Drag Race star Morphine Love Dion has revealed the extent of her injuries after being involved in a fatal car crash. The queen, who finished 5th in the most recent season of the flagship franchise and won its lip sync SmackDown, was traveling in an Uber with Canada Drag Race star Chaos when she was involved in a crash. 5 others were injured in the accident on the 10 freeway in the Jefferson Park area of Los Angeles a week ago. Local news sources reported one person, I should say, died. In an encouraging update from season 16, sister Tsunami Muse, Morphine has now revealed the extent of her injuries. Her statement begins with thanking friends for love and positive messages before revealing that she had fractured her collarbone. Also, I told you, she said it, I broke my jaw, for which I needed surgery and led to the loss of several teeth. I'm still a bit sad and traumatized, but extremely grateful and happy to be alive. I'm back in Miami focusing on my recovery. I will continue to post updates periodically and ask for your patience and understanding during this difficult time. The Latina diva went on to thank World of Wonder, MTV, and Paramount, as well as her manager and friends. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to actually pull up her update so that way y'all can see it. So, Chaos, who appeared in season 3 of the spinoff show, has also shared an update. She has fractured her ribs as well as a severe concussion, which led to a seizure. Some of her injuries required stitches. Now, as Morphine mentioned, we are all grateful to be alive, she said, also thanking World of Wonder. Both artists have been attending RuPaul's DragCon before the crash. Now, an Uber spokesperson told Entertainment Weekly, "Our hearts go out to everyone impacted by this gut-wrenching crash. We are all working to get in touch with the driver and riders to check out their well-being." So there you have it. Morphine has updated her fans on, what had happened to her. And, I definitely am happy to see that she's okay. I know season 16 is currently on Paramount Plus. So for those of y'all who have not seen the season, I guess you could definitely go over to Paramount Plus and watch the current season of Drag Race without commercials on that good stuff. So I'm glad to hear that Morphine is doing well. I'm glad that she let people know where she is in the state of her injuries and that she's doing what she can to get better. And so, shout out to you, daughter. And, take your time to get right with yourself. And when you're ready to get back out there and perform, the fans will be there to root for you. And you definitely will be making them coins because the kids are going to want to be able to see Morphine out there performing. They're going to want to be there to witness it. They're going to tip the house down boots and they're going to want to have that video. So, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of Morphine and her latest update on her status regarding, her injuries after that horrific Uber pileup on the freeway? Was it the 10 freeway, as I said? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we are officially at the end of the show. If you have some final questions, comments, and concerns, drop them down in the comments section of the live chat. Otherwise, I'm about to log off because like I'm starting to feel lightheaded. I was getting hungry. I did eat this morning. I had pancakes, eggs, and bacon. And that's the last thing I ate. And the good thing is I cooked a lot of chicken last night. So all I gotta do is just go and heat up some food. I don't have to really like cook. Because sometimes you get like that. Like I'm thinking like I should have went to like I need to go to like BJ's or Costco or something and just pick up like a big bag of chicken patties. So that way I could just throw them shits in the oven. Cause when it be hot, you don't want to eat. So I'm just like make a little bowl of salad, get a little make some chicken patties, throw them in the oven, and then put it in a sandwich with some cheese, some ketchup, some mayo, the secret sauce, they be using. It's like the mix of the ketchup and the mayo with some cayenne pepper. Put that on the top of the bread after you done toasted it. And then make you a little sandwich. Because sometimes you don't want to be like slaving over a stove. Not in no 83-degree weather. Because that's what it says outside. But it says the high is 87. So it said, not a question. I just want to let y'all know y'all donate any old denim items at Target for up to 20% off denim items. Wait, you said they got denim items at Target? Are you talking about denim, the drag queen? Or you talking about actual denim? Y'all donate any old denim items at Target. I didn't know you could donate stuff to them. I don't really go to Target as much. And I passed it a couple of times. The one thing about New York City, we have a lot of Targets in the city and things. Where it's like I'll go in and I'll pick up some things. Like if I need some lotion, some toothpaste, that sort of thing. I go in Midtown Manhattan and get it. Because if I go or if I'm in Lincoln Square, that whole Lincoln Center, that whole area, I'll go and pick it up because they don't have things locked up. If you go in certain areas of pharmacies and stuff, now they lock up everything. They lock up the toothpaste, they lock up the shampoo. I'm like, child, who got time to be up in here trying to ask for all of that? When you said y'all can't donate any old denim items for coupons, it's for 1 week, August 4th to 10th. Well, thank you for letting the audience know. And so on that note, I want to thank you all for watching. Tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Allen Unfiltered. I'll see if I come on tomorrow. If not, I'll be on what's tomorrow? Wednesday. I'll see if I come on Thursday. So if there's anything that's popping up, going on in media and all this other stuff, I might be on tomorrow. I may need to take a little break because I done fed y'all like 3 days of shows, yeah. But look, I'm not complaining, just saying. Thank you all for watching. And thank you all for those of you that were in the comments chatting and stuff. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Allen Unfiltered. Love you all, love you all, love you all. And until next time, ciao, dog.